Welcome back, everybody, to Vidane TV. A little Taco Tuesday night action here. Doubleheader. Kart League is off later on tonight, but we still got ourselves a little Liberty Racing League action doubleheader here tonight. Kicking things off with SlamDraftin with Liberty. Little podcast action. We're going to talk half hour, 45 minutes or so about last week's race, this week's race. Got a two-time winner this season already in 3 races on here in just a few moments' time, but getting things kicked off here, a little Liberty Racing League action, SlamDraftin right now, and then after that, we got the 87 cars at Talladega. Going to be a heck of a race here, and, well, I mean, really, without further ado, Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. in the Vidane HQ, and still waiting on Rowdy Wesley Hogue, getting wrapped up at the old place of business. He'll be joining us here very, very shortly, but without further ado, let's get right into it. Rob Collier won last week's race, easy enough for me to say, and also won the Vidane.net 500, the very first race of the season. And really, Rob, it's great to have you on board, man. How you feeling here tonight?
Feeling pretty good. I mean, like you said, we're going to 87s tonight, and I think out of all the cars we'll be running this year, that's kind of my bread and butter. So looking forward to it.
100%, and it's going to be the first time, I believe, that we're running these 87 cars here this season, and it's we've had 3 races so far. You've won 2 of them, and each one of the races has really given us kind of a dynamic set of challenges. The very first race of the season, 500 miles long. It was a 4-hour show here on Vidane TV. One of the longest races, if not the longest races we've ever broadcast here in our short 3-year tenure. But it was awesome to be able to take the Liberty Racing League drivers and basically put them out on a pedestal and say, check these guys out. These guys are here to really make an impact and to really show that they're serious about this. And we want to show that we're racing for a championship belt, and each and every one of these drivers know it. And I guess we'll talk about the first race of the season here, Rob. What kind of preparation did you have getting into the season? You know, it's all super speedway races. You've kind of raced with a lot of these cats before, whether it was last season here in the Liberty Racing League, potentially in other leagues, and maybe in some open pickup races. But how do you come into a brand new season? What is it that you expect? Did you have any expectations?
To be honest, it was basically Wes just messaged me after the end of our 87 league in NSR. He'd be like, "Hey, it'd be cool if you come run this with us." I was like, "I'll think about it." And a couple days later, it's like, "I'll do it." Other than that, didn't really give too much thought into it, mainly because of the simple fact that I later found out it was a fixed setup league. So it's basically just going to come down to just basic racecraft discipline and just general knowledge of these cars.
And that's what's kind of cool.
Go ahead. Yeah, the biggest thing was that first race of the year, since it was in the next gen car. I honestly think that's the biggest what if factor for this entire season, is that platform and what iRacing's probably going to do to it here in about a month or so, if they change anything with it. Just because of just how ridiculous they had the side draft set up with it, and just how slow those cars are in general. I honestly think they're the slowest cars we got. I think the trucks can outrun those guys.
And it's one of those things, too, that each one of the cars that we run here with the Liberty Racing League, they all bring a little bit something different to the table. We're looking right now at some of the clips from last week's race. We ran trucks at the iRacing Super Speedway. It looks very, very similar to the Coca-Cola Speedway from NASCAR Racing 2003 season. But it's kind of a unique thing, kind of a unique challenge to throw at the drivers. So you're looking at 2 big racetracks, or 2 big races, the 500-miler, which you came home with the victory there, and then last week's race, which it was at a track that's not necessarily a real track. It wasn't to Talladega or Daytona, so a lot of the drivers that's maybe new to iRacing or weren't around for the NASCAR Racing 2003 series days, or really didn't even know that this track existed. I mean, it's a 3-mile, we're taking a peek at some of the clips from last week, it's a 3-mile super speedway with 40-degree banking, absolute behemoth of a racetrack. And it's not something that a lot of these drivers would get out on practice for. So we had a little bit of yellow fever last week with the racing action, but it was still a phenomenal show that got put on by these Liberty Racing drivers. But kind of talk about some of the challenges that we faced last week with the trucks.
Yeah, last week, I hate to say it, out of I think all the cars.
Last week was tough.
Yeah, but luckily it was in the trucks, because I know if if anyone was doing any of the like the fixed officials with the Xfinity cars there, I think we would have had a lot more carnage, since that's a car you can't run full throttle around that place. If you're tucked up in the draft, the car will literally go around on you. But it was a big learning curve for a lot of guys. It highlighted that a lot of guys needed just to back it down a little bit and understand it's a lot more than just going fast. They have to be able to be smooth as well, and that was the big thing I think caused a lot of problems last week.
100%. We're actually getting joined by the Rowdy One, getting everything kind of situated over in his HQ. Wes, how we doing tonight, brother? Still working on Wes's audio, it seems like. Not sure if he can hear us. We cannot hear him. I can tell you, though, he's wearing a fantastic Josh Allen t-shirt, I think. Possibly. We might have got the audio hooked up. Wes, are you there?
I can hear now.
Hey, there we are. How we doing, brother?
Doing well. Do we have Rob with us?
We do have Rob with us. We can't see him, but we can hear him, and he can hear us, and we're just kind of shooting the breeze just a little bit, talking about the challenges from last week's race. Kind of a, don't want to call it a fantasy track, but essentially that's what it was. It was a fantasy track, a 3-mile behemoth of a racetrack, and it really brought in a lot of challenges, and Rob was just kind of going over a nice shirt, by the way. I hear that guy won again this week.
Yeah. I just wanted to say congratulations to Rob real quick. I'm still on standby waiting for a client to come get his vehicle real fast, but I just want to say congratulations to Rob real quick. Before I do so, this was supposed to be hot tubbing with Hogue, brought, by Tim Terry's request. However, my clients like me clothed when I give them their keys back, unfortunately. But so nonetheless, congratulations, Rob. And just continue talking about the challenges of last week, this week, whatever the hell you're talking
about. All right. Thanks, man.
Always good to know that the boss man says we're doing okay, so that's pretty cool. But we get into we were talking about all those challenges and everything that we kind of saw last week, and we talked about the preparation getting into the season, the 500-mile race at the beginning. Where does your background kind of come from as far as sim racing goes? Did you have anything kind of in the arsenal that you may have learned in the past that kind of helped you out in these first 3 races?
So my entire background with sim racing is kind of extended but brief if you think about it. I jumped on the service like right after the beta time span back in 08, 09, around there. Played around with it for a little bit. Then I'm in the military, so at the same time I jumped in, I got sent off to Korea and stuff like that, and I didn't drag everything else around with me. It honestly took until I actually got stationed back in Alabama with my buddy Kyle Hendricks. He got me back on board with it, and from there we just been, at least with him on the super speedway side, trying to tear things up. Me more like on everything else, I've been trying to tear everything else up. But prior to this, we put full effort into the firecracker stuff. So we're nonstop always working on that. And I hate to say it, when Junior got more involved with the 87s, I think he kind of broke a lot of stuff. So we'll see a little bit of that product tonight. Hopefully people understand you can't go full throttle with the 87s tonight as well.
Yeah, but we've seen those cars a couple of times on Vanadian TV with a few different leagues, and it is a handful to drive. You lose the back end of the race car quite often, and it's kind of cool for me because that's the 87 car is my favorite kind of era of NASCAR, and I think I'm definitely not alone when I say that. That's back when race cars were race cars. Is kind of like what I like to say, and that's very, very similar to the street stocks that we run here at Stafford Motor Speedway. With the rent a race car crew and that whole deal, and it's kind of neat to be able to take somebody like the Gary Spinato Juniors and folks that aren't really into iRacing or sim racing or anything like that. You kind of show them how the car's set up and the different aspects of racing the 87 cars, and they're just like what we run at street stocks at a lot of the short tracks across the country. So it's really cool to kind of have that realism of the car itself, but then be able to kind of throw the monkey wrench, so to speak, at it with these super speedways. And it really puts on a heck of a show. But like you said, you really have to be kind of driving heads up. You really need to be able to focus on what you're doing and then kind of focus on what everybody else is doing around you.
Oh, if I can bounce off of you on that, no pun intended. I would like to say that our best racing sometimes has been the most difficult cars to race. No matter what season it's been, if either it was our inaugural season or throwback season, the cars you had to be the most disciplined, we've had the best racing at. That includes the 87, the ARCA cars, where bumping usually isn't exactly the recommended option. Or, as with these 87s, they take a little bit of lifting, especially once the tires get worn out. So I'm hoping for the same tonight. I'm going to let you guys chat. My guy is here. I'll see you soon.
Wes taking care of business, just like the drivers of the Liberty Racing League getting ready to take care of business here tonight. And Rob, we talking big picture. You've already got 2 wins on the season, the only driver to win multiple times here so far in the Liberty Racing League. Already locked into the playoffs. Does that change how you kind of go about each race, or are you still out there each week to kind of win and put on a show?
No, every week go out there and try to win a race.
That's what it's all about. A little bit of cash on the line. bshow.info jumping on board, sponsoring tonight's race, the New Year's Eve Smash, and that's going to be a lot of fun here tonight. And again, racing at Talladega, so similar track to last week, a little bit smaller. It's hard to think that Talladega is smaller than anything, but that's just a massive racetrack we were at last week. But Talladega tonight in a car that you really, I think temperamental would be a good way of driving these 87 cars around the racetrack.
It's more, I'm not saying really temperamental. It's more just that patience factor with them. It's like I had to explain to a lot of guys in other leagues I've been in when we go to like Daytona or Talladega with the 87s. The biggest issue is they try to run it like a modern stock car. They need to understand the fact that you're still driving a brick. It has a lot more aero than what people think, but it's still a brick. And with the bias tire and everything like that, you have to basically prepare the car to actually enter the corner. You can't just throw it in there like a normal car with about 4 times the amount of downforce and side force. It's not going to work. So I think that's the big thing for tonight. Just hopefully in practice, people will get some understanding of that. Hopefully they've done some practice over the week. Hell, officials went to Daytona last night, so hopefully people have ran that and have an idea what's going on.
And it's one of those things too, where you really want to kind of practice how the car handles on the track. With new tires, old tires, fuel, this, that, the other thing. But pit stops are going to be a big thing here as well. And we've kind of had a mixed bag here for the first 3 races. We had a lot of green flag runs in that long 500 miler to kick things off. The second race, very green flag, handful of green flag pit stops there as well. But last week, little bit of a caution-filled race. So we had a lot of caution pit stops at that point. So going into it tonight, the big show here at the bshow.info New Year's Throwdown at Talladega. Do you have a different mindset as far as practice? Do you go in, or are you going to kind of work on maybe the race setup, little pit road action on and off, or just kind of going with the flow just a little bit?
Definitely just the big thing I'm going to be on. It's like when practice opens up, just do a good full fuel run with it and just see how the tire wear is actually working out. I mean, we're down on fuel as it is, but still, if you do a 4-tire stop in these cars, you're looking at 20 to 24 seconds, depending on the roll of the die. And if you have a better understanding of what's actually going on with your tire wear and tire temps, that's going to save you 11 seconds most of the time if you don't have to go in there and take more than 2 tires at any given time. So that understanding is going to be key, especially if we do go green for a long period, because this is a platform, even though we're at Talladega, when stuff starts wearing out, the field should stretch out, and we're going to see a couple people probably run away with it, depending on what happens.
And it's always fun to see kind of the different strategies that get into it. You'll have the drivers that are up front the entire time. Some drivers kind of towards the back here a little bit, and pretty much everything in between. Always a mixed bag here on Verdane TV. And looking forward to more of that here with the Liberty Racing League here tonight. bshow.info jumping on board with the sponsorship. Once again, check out that website. Lots of entertaining stuff on there, from crank calls to podcasts, all sorts of wrestling stuff on there as well. And also check out doorstopnation.com. Shout out to Joe for hooking us up and taking care of the drivers that like to put on a show here for us at Verdane TV, entertaining the masses as we like to do. And Rob, I want to shift gears just a little bit. We've talked a little bit about sim racing and Liberty Racing and kind of your background in sim racing and where we've been, where we're going with the league. We're already locked in to the playoffs here with the 2 wins, so you could even have another repeat winner. You're still good to go. Still going to be fighting for that championship belt. But when you're not in the sim rig, when you're not on the computer, what else goes on with you? What goes on in the world of Rob? What kind of stuff are you into?
Well, now that I'm up here in good old Colorado, it's more outdoorsy stuff. Trying to get the wife to go do some more hiking, stuff like that. Of course, a lot of beer tasting at all the wonderful distilleries and breweries around here. So
Oh,
can't
we
complain
we
about that.
we support that if it ain't TV. We always remind everybody to drink responsibly, but we definitely do partake every now and again.
Yep, let's see. There's that. Haven't been too busy now with the holidays, and when I'm not hurting myself on random projects around the house. Um,
Any sports that you're into, either participating, watching? Big football guy at all?
I'm Bear College guy. I'm Roll Tide. I'm about Alabama fan. I'm from good old Alabama. Let's see. NFL wise, I'm a Bears fan. Family's from up there, but I haven't had anything to talk about the Bears since 2008. So yeah. Hockey, Blackhawks, baseball, I'm Cubs fan. So everything's looking down on the professional side for me. So give that another 15 years for the cycle to finally come back around. A big auto racing as a whole. As a kid, it was NASCAR was the first thing I got into. Going to the good old local Montgomery Motor Speedway in Montgomery, Alabama. I think it was just stocks that night for whatever series I had back in like 95, but that's when I picked up my first little Earnhardt car and I was like, I like this. So from there, it's just been a nice relationship with just motorsports in general.
And it's always cool to kind of sit back and hear that same exact story from so many different people. It's always it's kind of the running joke. The whole getting into cars, getting into racing. That whole thing kind of starts out with a 93-cent addiction. You get one of those little Matchbox cars, whether it's Dale Earnhardt or I was a Jeff Gordon fan growing up with my uncle. Big 24 guys, and it's always kind of cool to see and to kind of listen to how folks kind of got into racing and just how much it kind of impacts their lives, their families, their friends, all kinds of stuff. It's something that you can either agree on or disagree on, but in anything, it still brings us all together. But with that being said, as far as any kind of like real racing experience, do you have anything like that under your belt? Is that something you might try and if the opportunity presented itself, is that something you'd look into?
Oh yeah, I mean, as a kid, I did my damnedest to get a go kart, but I was a military brat growing up, so that was never going to happen. We couldn't just stay in one place long enough. I did open test tuning drag racing once I got into high school. So that's basically let's go take the Cavalier with a couple of bolt-ons and adjust the tire pressures before we go to the drag strip and do a little bracket running. But now where I'm at, it's more like I still need to go check out the local go-kart scene here. Probably getting involved with a couple of leagues just in-house because I know they got a good electric track up here. And they have another good facility, I think, another hour from here. And of course, we got Pikes Peak and everything. And excuse me a second, I got a phone call.
Yeah, 100%. So it's kind of wrapping up here. We got about 10 minutes or so here. We'll let Rob take the phone call. Just getting ready for the fourth race of the season here tonight. Liberty Racing League this season kicking things off, going for that championship belt. That belt got debuted live on this show on SlamDraftin with Liberty Racing last week. Wes actually took his headset off, ran outside, high-fived the UPS guy, came back in, and really showed us that gorgeous championship belt that everybody's going to be fighting for here in really just a few weeks' time. It's going to be playoff time before we know it here in the Liberty Racing League, especially here on Vidane TV. Time flies when you're having fun. It's already the last week of December, and we've got a lot of stuff kicking things off in the new year and really rounding things off this year as well. Tomorrow night, we've got Tim's Corner Motorsports TCM Live. Going to be doing the big awards show, the end of the year TCM awards for all of the maritime drivers. That's going to be a lot of fun, and you never know who's going to pop in for that. And That's going to be something you definitely want to check out. We got the Liberty Racing League race tonight here at Talladega in the 87 cars. bshow.info jumping on board with the sponsorship again here tonight. Again, shout out to Joe and good friends with Joe. We got to get him up here on the show and kind of shoot the breeze a little bit. A lot of racing and wrestling background there for sure. But man, it's great to see how things are going here with the Liberty Racing League, and we've got just a few minutes left here before the top of the hour. Is the phone call wrapped up, Rob?
Yep. Perfect time.
Awesome. Excellent. Perfect. So we got a few minutes here. Just want to kind of give you kind of the floor here a little bit. Is there anything that we didn't maybe touch on that might kind of interest our viewers just a little bit, or you can even kind of give a shout out to any sponsors or friends or family or anything like that? Man, we got a few minutes. Let's chat.
Oh, well, about me? Oh, no, I'm a pretty simple, straightforward guy. Only good little tidbit is I'm probably the first person from Space Force you ever talked to. So you have that now.
That is actually kind of badass. That's pretty cool. And that is an accurate statement. The very first person from the Space Force that I've talked to. And one of those, I was going to wrap the show up with it, but definitely, as always, with all the military folks, a lot of military backgrounds in the Liberty Racing League. I want to thank you for your service. It's definitely it shows a lot of character when folks are getting ready to jump in and really kind of fight for the country. And want to thank you for that, personally, and then from everybody here watching at Vidane TV. Awesome stuff. And I mean, that kind of leads into the next question. When are we going to see a Space Force car?
I gotta talk to my painters about that and figure out what I want to put it on. So I gotta do some thinking about that.
Maybe line it up with Tesla or something, and we'll just call you a rocket ship out of through each one of these races. It'll give us something to talk about here at Vidane TV.
I might do that with the ARCA car because I already have a Tesla ARCA car, but it's kind of interesting. It's a Tesla car that's sponsored by Strickland Propane. So,
and it kind of goes hand in hand. We're taking a look. Actually, great time, and we're taking a peek. It's kind of the replay of last week. Dale's Dead Bug on the hood of the old Ford pickup there. So, always kind of cool to have a fleet matched up with matching sponsors. And if that's something some viewers and some folks out there might be interested, how can they get out in touch with you on social media or anything like that for sponsorship opportunities?
Honestly, right now, not much on the social media side. Email will just be rob3829@gmail.com. If you search on the Facebook for Rob Collier, you might find me. You probably won't find me. It's gonna stay that way. But another way to get a hold of me is through Nexus Sim Racing, NSR. Just do a quick Google search for us, and you'll find our website. And my little spiel is we have 3 leagues about to start up for next year. First one starting up in January. That will be the Gen 6 cars. And then we're also going to do the COTs. That'll run on Fridays, if I remember correctly. And we're going to do Xfinity on Sundays. And for a little preview, we were having our Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah 400 special that we're going to run this weekend. But of course, with the unfortunate announcement from good old IndyCar, there's been a flood of last hurrahs for the Indy 500s to be broadcasted by, I think, everybody and their brother. So we kind of lost our support for that race this week, and we'll have to reschedule. But we do have a 250-mile apology race. So if you're interested in that, just go to our website, ask for the invite to the Discord, and we'll hook you up. That'll be a free entry and just $25 to the winner.
100%. We've seen Nexus Sim Racing here on Vidane TV. Great group of guys, great group of drivers, and always entertaining the masses for sure. And just a few moments left here on a SlamDraftin with Liberty. Hard to think it's already episode number 3. It might be episode 4. Now I can't remember. No, episode 3, race 4 here later on. But we got just a few minutes here. You've got a little bit of experience with the sim racing, a little bit of background. For somebody that may be watching here tonight, kind of throw us a little bit of a pitch. Why should somebody get into sim racing? What would What would they get if they went out and they bought iRacing and a wheel and a whole setup tomorrow?
You have the ability to send it as hard as you want, and you don't have to pay for the car. That's the biggest thing. You don't have to pay for track usage. You don't have to pay for gas. You don't have to pay for tires. You don't have to maintain a car. And if someone's afraid of you getting hurt, the only way you're going to get hurt is if you do something dumb with your equipment. So, yeah.
So that's what it's all about. Short, sweet, and to the point. It's an inexpensive way to kind of get into racing, and it's got I always like the mix of the real racing and the sim racing kind of aspects to it. And you never know who you're going to fall in behind and kind of work with and draft with here in iRacing and in the sim racing world. So always cool to check that out. iRacing.com. There's usually some promos there at the beginning of the year for new members. And check it out. Let them know Vidane TV sent you. But man, oh man, getting to the top of the hour, and I think Wes is finally back into the office chair here, and see if we can get hooked back up with him momentarily. Wes, are you still there? No, Wes is on his way back in the front door. We'll get him hooked up here and kind of round the show off. Got just a few moments left, and we'll get Wes hooked up for sure. But Rob, what else is on the docket for you? Yeah, as far as sim racing goes, we know we got Nexus Sim Racing kicking off here. You said 3 series kicking off. Liberty Racing obviously running for the championship. We got any other leagues? Any other pickup races you're going to be running in?
Pickup wise, it just depends on what's out there. Hopefully, we're going to see a lot more for Parker and the gang on their special events starting up here at Daytona. And
Holy shit!
Leave it to Wes. We're going to switch the cameras up a little bit because Tim was promised a shirtless Wes in the hot tub, and I think Wes is maybe having second thoughts there.
Oh man, it's really cold and really hot at the same time. I think this is how pneumonia happens. I think.
But Wes, we got a minute or two left, man. We're going to be kicking things off here in about an hour's time, going racing the bshow.info. Jumping on board, supporting us once again here in the Liberty Racing League. What are we looking forward to? What do we got to expect with the 87s at Talladega?
Hey, buddy. So, hard nipples.
Did you hear any of that? I know you're kind of focused right now.
Tim, this is for Tim. Damn it! I got to give him some kind of material. No. So I don't know what to expect. I think Rob covered that as well. You know, these cars are a little bit more difficult to drive than your typical trucks or Xfinity. Week one, we expected a 200-mile or 200-lap, 500-mile poop show, and instead we got some really good racing that was full of excitement. Same thing with week two with the Xfinity cars. I thought maybe people were going to be out of control with the bump drafting, but instead we got another really good race. And then, unfortunately, last week's dud really kind of put a damper on things. But we're looking to bounce back here with the 87. It's one of the more difficult cars to drive on the server. However, I'm expecting everybody to step it up. I know myself. I plan on going for a win, man. It's been a long time since I've gotten a win in my own damn league. I can win everywhere else, but when it comes to my own league, I struggle. So I'm trying to shoot for that W here tonight, and we're gonna have 80 laps of fun at Talladega in the 1987 cars.
And really looking forward to calling the action here live on Vidane TV, and that brings us right up to the top of the hour. So in just 60 minutes, we're gonna be going green flag racing here for the bshow.info New Year's Showdown at Talladega. It's gonna be the 87 car. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Do not miss it. Come back here. I'm actually gonna take a little bit of time and finish eating my ham and cheese sandwich here.
Well, if you are, we can bullshit about some wrestling while you're doing that. I'm going to be in here for a little bit.
Well, I guess we could. I mean, sure. What have we got going on? We got all sorts of rumors as far as wrestling goes right now.
Rob, you're more than welcome to hang out, or you can go practice. I'm sure you don't need it, but
Nah, I'm gonna go jump into practice. I actually gotta, someone to look out for. If I think he's gonna be in it tonight, it's gonna be Kyle Hendricks.
Yes. Let Kyle know I will accept his league invitation here very soon.
All right.
Give me about 15 minutes.
As soon as he gets out of the bathtub.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate you coming on.
All right, Paul. So I heard most of it. Awesome having Rob on. Wanted Rob on since he won the Daytona 500. Unfortunately, scheduling issues didn't allow that, but getting him on here for tonight after he got win number 2 at iRacing Super Speedway. And I don't know if he went over it or not. I didn't hear it, but the way he won that race, Paul, is he went from 15th to 1st in a lap. And it wasn't even driving through a big one. He drove his way from 15th to 1st, which was super duper. It was impressive. Which shows just the caliber of race car driver that we have in the Liberty Racing League. So I'm quite happy about who we have in this league. I think last week was I'm hoping it was a fluke, just people getting ready for the holidays and just wasn't maybe all there mentally getting ready for it. But now the holidays are over. Let's get back to some racing and let's get back to some wrestling, man.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that. I don't even know how I completely spaced on it. Had myself a little bit of a week as far as wrestling goes, and racing too. We'll get into that in just a second. But man, wrestling. Sitting in front of my computer about a month ago, I'm thinking, hey, you know what? It'd be kind of cool to go to the 30th anniversary of Monday Night Raw. So I bought 2 tickets and gave one of them my brother for Christmas. We're going to be going down to Philly here in a couple of weeks, and that's going to be
hell yeah.
an absolute friggin' blast. I know Ric Flair is pretty much the only legend that's confirmed right now, but you never know who's going to show up at that. You know, Taker's around, Stone Cold's in awesome shape. There's all sorts of rumors about The Rock and Cody and all these comebacks, and it's the go-home show before the Royal Rumble. I ordered the tickets, I sat down, and I had to call my sister. It's like, I got to tell somebody. This is like a Christmas present. It's a secret, but I'm sitting there shaking, and I got tears in my eyes. Like, this is awesome. It's one of those things where kind of my childhood with wrestling mashes in with my brother's childhood of wrestling, and we're going to go to Philly. We're going to have ourselves a time at the 30th anniversary of Monday Night Raw.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Just dealing with something real quick. They're saying server might be up. May not be up. 1 second. I know it's already made. I'm letting them know right now. Should pop up any moment. The thing is, when you're setting up a server, even if you set it to go up at, let's say, 7 p.m., a lot of times it ends up being like 7:04 or something like that when it actually shows up for people to go on. So I got a couple people asking where's the server, and hopefully, if it doesn't show up by 7:10, I'll be bouncing out of here real quick and setting that up. But no, man, that's awesome. Congratulations. I'm glad you're getting an opportunity to do that. WWE live events are they're second to none when it comes to production value. You really feel like you're at a big time show. Just especially the live events. Like now, if you get an opportunity to go to one of the house shows, they're so much fun as well. Everybody's much more relaxed, and you really get to see them show some personalities. But watching that Raw, that's good. I mean, the 30-year anniversary of Raw only happens once.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fucking awesome. I'm happy for you, man. I think you should definitely have a blast. If we're going to talk about wrestling, my schedule picks back up January 14th. Last time I've stepped inside a wrestling ring was December 10th. Take a little bit of time off for the holidays and focus on my business. And getting back at it, January 14th, I'll be in Dothan, Alabama with Wiregrass Wrestling Alliance. Thing about Wiregrass, it's funny. They were known as like a mud show, as like some hick Alabama promotion that, just had untrained wrestlers. And now they are something different. Like they are doing a lot. And I'm proud to be a part of that roster. And then we'll be going from Dothan, Alabama on the 14th to the 15th down to Deltona, Florida, which is near Orlando. So that's going to be one hell of a drive overnight. I'll tell you that. I'm going to be there with EGCW. I'm actually going to be in a triple threat hardcore match. I've never even been in a hardcore match, let alone I've never even been in a triple threat match. At least not one like this. So, man, I'm excited. I really am. And then we got the 2-year anniversary of the passing of John Huber. That's been all over social media. What a guy. Still his impact to this day. I can't wait, several years down the road. Hopefully his son stays, active in the wrestling industry, no matter what company it may be. That is a family that will live in wrestling forever. And then we'll see what AEW's got going on. I would be lying to you if I told you I watch these shows every single week, because as you know, Paul, when you're training, you really don't watch as much wrestling just because you're in a ring so damn much. And when you're wrestling every week, you kind of fall out of what's happening on TV. and that unfortunately happened. But plan on getting back at it, watching some pro wrestling here soon, especially that 30th anniversary episode, just because when WWE does like old school or they do their anniversary shows, you never know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. And that's really what I'm looking forward to. It's one of the, I mean, we've got nosebleed seats. They were, I don't know, $60-$70 a pop or whatever. But when you go to a wrestling show, you don't, what?
You're going to be there. That's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. That's the words right out of my mouth. You don't go to be able to see the ring. You go to feel the energy. And I was reminded of that. The last wrestling show I went to was actually AEW down in Bridgeport, their Connecticut debut, back in earlier this year. I don't remember when it was. But it was a phenomenal show. The energy was off the chains. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a long time since I've been in something that big. And I'm looking forward to it. It's one of the cool things that's going on for Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. here in 2023. Like the return of Paul Strickland Jr. to Stafford Speedway on SRX weekend, baby. July 14th, I think. I don't know. I'll have to double check the dates. It's all over Facebook.
Oh, hell yeah.
Gonna be a weekend. It's gonna be a weekend, and if you are anywhere close to New England, the Northeast, even if you're down in Florida in a hot tub right now in the middle of friggin' December, come on up and watch some racing. Thursday night, Stafford Motor Speedway, SRX Series season debut at Stafford Motor Speedway for the second year. That's going to be an absolute blast. That little short track, when SRX is in town, it's sold out, and it's like the energy is like no other. It's almost like a cup race.
I have a question. What is up with your fingernails right now?
I got bored. Trying to pick up goth chicks. I don't know. It's a phase. It's fine. But then the next night, Friday night, going to be a regular Stafford show. I'll be in the number 6 Vidane TV sponsored Rent a Race Car Ride. Got to give props to Gary and Paulie for letting me jump in again. It's going to be my 4th race. I've got a top 10 under my belt, and I'm looking forward to getting back out there. There's a lot of talent in that Street Stock series. Dave Mesha Jr. jumping on last year's Rookie of the Year. How cool is that? After a scary crash with his dad in the 37 car that you may have saw on Stafford's Facebook page. But then Saturday, Sunday, going up to Loudon, man. We're going to be going checking out the Wheel and Modified Tour and the Xfinity race on Saturday. Sunday, checking out the Cup race up there in New Hampshire. I'm bringing a case of Vidane TV shirts, so anybody wants to come hang out. I don't know if we're camping, hitting a hotel, what the heck we're doing, or if I can find somebody up there who's got a couch I can crash on. But going to be a blast. Really looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting back into the car. Lots of cool stuff coming up for 2023.
I gotta go. I gotta get set up a server.
All right, so Wes is going to go do his thing. I'm going to go do my thing. We're going to be back here in about 55 minutes time here for the green flag for the bshow.info. Christmas, New Year's, end of the last race of the thing. bshow.info. Check them out here. Grab yourselves a snack. Grab yourselves a drink. And we will be back right here live on Vidane TV. Wait. All right, hang on, time out. Don't go anywhere. This goes to the Twitch community. We're gonna come back here to the live shot here. Live button. Because he's been hitting that Kong a beer bong. We gotta deal with Kong beer bong. Check those guys out. It's kong.2drunk.net. And it's a beer bong koozie thing. It's really cool, and I've got it set up on Twitch, but I don't know where mine is, so I have to order a new one. But check those guys out. Big-time supporters here at Vidane TV, so I can't Kong a beer for you, but I'll chug one, because you know what? We got a little bit of a break here before we have to go live. So cheers. As cold as my ex's heart. We'll be back in less than 60 minutes. We're going live at Talladega in the 87 cars. Do not miss it right here live on Vidane TV. All right. We told you we'd be back here at Vidane TV, and back we are. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth doing a little Tuesday night action here with the Liberty Racing League race numero cuatro here on the season. Taking just a brief and ferocious look at the points as we come into it. Rob Collier, talked to him earlier tonight on SlamDraftin with Liberty Racing. Came home with the victory last week at iRacing Super Speedway and with the Vidane.net 500 victory, the first race of the season, the big 500-mile race to kick the season off. He is going to be the points leader getting into it in this one. And John Ballou comes home with the victory in the second race of the season, so he is locked into the playoffs as well. All the drivers here in the Liberty Racing League. There's Rob Collier in the O2 car doing a little bit of leading the pack, so to speak. Open qualifying session here. Got about a minute and a half left for these drivers to post a quick time to find out where they're going to start in tonight's bshow.info New Year's resolution. Got to give a shout out to Joe and bshow.info as well as Doorstop Nation jumping on board to help support those that entertain us here in the iRacing world, especially here on Vidane TV. Just about 60 seconds for these drivers to clock off a quick one to find out where they're going to line themselves up before we get going here. Taking a look at the rest of the top 10 in points, Michael Carpenter in there, the highest driver with 119 points without a victory here. Bobby Anderson, Kevin West up in the top 5. Matt Swope, Jax Duvall-Crawl, Nathan Brown, Chad Lancaster, and Jarrett Bolliard going to be the top 10 going into this one. Jarrett Bolliard having one of those championship belts from Vidane Racing's past, and there's a handful of those championship belts out there. We've made mention Ian Plash winning the original one, Richard Beasley winning at Sim 500, Vidane TV, kind of a mashup, and Jarrett Bolliard coming home with one of those championship belts as well. And we're going to have one more driver join it. That's kind of elite pack, that elite group of folks that have the Sim Racing Championship belt here in just a few weeks' time. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get there, we got to get through tonight's race. bshow.info jumping on board here tonight. Lots of cool stuff over on that website, www.bshow.info. The B stands for best. I don't think it does, but we're gonna go with that. I think that's a pretty cool thing. It might actually make it to a T-shirt here before the week is out. Speaking of T-shirts, sweatshirts, hooded sweatshirts, beanies, hats, towels, shower curtains, you name it. We've got all the cool stuff with your favorite logos on it over at the Vidane TV merchandise hauler, www.vidane.net. Use that promo code LIBERTY for 10% off. Check out Vidane TV merchandise, Liberty Racing League merchandise, Rent a Race Car, Angry Tree Guy, Visual Pollution, all sorts of cool stuff. There's stickers. There's all sorts of neat stuff. Be sure to check it out, Vidane.net. And again, code LIBERTY at checkout for 10% off. And actually getting a little bit of a review from one of the Liberty Racing League drivers here, Sean Calvin, the number 91. He jumped in and said, hey, he ordered a shirt last week, 2 shirts last week. So these T-shirts are amazing. Nice fit in the field. They're true to size. When you order a 2X, you get a shirt that fits a proper 2X body. And the colors pop out. And if you haven't ordered yours, what are you waiting for? So really cool to see some happy customers out there. Sean, thank you so much for supporting Vidane TV and the Liberty Racing League. Again, Vidane.net. If you want to get over there, get yourself a T-shirt, the sweatshirt. I'm actually wearing a Incredibly Angry Tree Guy sweatshirt that I picked up from Vidane.net. Very comfortable, very warm, especially here in the southern New England area. It's about 20 degrees outside. It's cold. We got the 30-pack of Busch Lattes right outside the garage door. So if you hear us poke on out for a quick one, it's going to end up sounding just like that. But there you see it. Trucks were last week. Cars this week. The 87 cars. Back when race cars were race cars, getting lined up there on the start-finish line. We're going to take a little look-see here at the starting lineup and find out where your favorite driver is going to be kicking things off here. And how about this duo up front? Rob Collier, 2-time winner so far here tonight. He is going to be starting on the pole. We talked to him, very confident, earlier this evening on SlamDraftin with Liberty. You can check out the replay on that on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all sorts of stuff. Give us the like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. And let your friends and family know you're watching yourself a little bit of the iRacing action here. His teammate, Kyle Hendricks, right outside of him And Rob had some phenomenal things to say about his teammate Kyle Hendricks in that 15 car. And he's going to be starting on the outside, going to give us a little bit of an opportunity to see how well the 02 and the 15 work together, especially in a car like these with the 87 cars. You can't really beat and bang too much. You can. It definitely does help out. But it's got to be kind of a controlled chaos, and that's one of the things that you really need to keep an eye on throughout this one. You'll see some drafting, you'll see some beating and banging, some bumping in the corners on the straightaways, but it is a controlled chaos. These cars are very difficult to drive around these big tracks. A lot of grip. Don't want to call it a grip issue, but definitely a little bit of a lack of grip there in the back end of the race car. So that's going to be something to keeping on the lookout here throughout the evening. Leon Kennison going to start P3 here on the inside of row number 2 with Jason Foskey on the outside. TJ Floyd and James Merritt going to make up row number 3. Rick Seabrins in the 4 car. Bobby Anderson in the 18 going to start P8. Matt Telder and Jax Duvall going to round out the top 10. Taylor Lasowski, Wesley Ho, a couple of teammates there in 11th and 12th as we kind of sift through the rest of the starting grid there on your screen. And the rest of the drivers in this field, they're going to be kicking things off with a bang here at Talladega. Race number 4, getting ready to kick things off there. Taking a peek, 33 cars strong in this field. And these guys have put on phenomenal shows over the past handful of weeks here live on Verdane TV. And got to give a shout out once again to bshow.info, Doorstop Nation, and Joel in charge of both of those. Definitely helping us out, helping the Liberty Racing League drivers out, and helping us out as well, getting some entertaining sim racing action out onto the airwaves. There you see it. Powerhouse front row, Hendricks in the 15 car up on the top side. Whole lots of chrome on that US Air car. And the 02 of Collier, 2-time winner, down on the bottom side. This is going to be a barn burner. You can see everybody closing on up 2 by 2 throughout the rest of the field, waiting for these drivers to make it around, finish up that parade lap, and we will be going green flag racing here at Talladega. Looking forward to it. 80 laps on the docket, and we are bringing you all the action here on Verdane TV. We're live and interactive here on Verdane TV. We're over on the Verdane TV Facebook page. We are over on the YouTube page. Do a quick search for Verdane TV, especially on your smart TV if you got one. Pull us up on the big screen, snap off a quick picture, throw it up on the Twitter. Do hashtag Verdane TV to join the conversation. We're also live over on the Twitch. Big time shout out to Trailer Park Dude getting that follow in 8 minutes ago. Appreciate that, man. Strictly 94 over on Twitch. We're going to be doing a little Grand Theft Auto here after the race later on. So shout out to the True Fiction RP crowd. www.truefictionrp.com. If you've got Grand Theft Auto installed on Steam, on your computer, check it out. Absolute blast. Before we get there, though, we got to take this green flag, the iRacing pace car, going down to the safety of pit road for the very first time this evening. And we wait long front straightaway here. We're going to wait till we get down to that start-finish line. Barney in the flag stand waving that green flag. We are racing here at Talladega for the bshow.info New Year's resolution. And there you can see up towards the front, a little bit of a 3-car breakaway, and then 2 by 2 back between the 49 and the 3-car for about 5th place. And you can see these drivers already getting 2, 3 wide, trying to get up towards the front. There you can see the 38 car, awesome little throwback for the Budweiser scheme for Wes Hogue in that 38 car. And up front, though, it's going to be Hendricks and Collier. Hendricks getting around his teammate in the 02 to hold on to the lead. And these two drivers know a thing or two about these super speedway races. Been with this group for quite a bit of time, it seems like. And pretty cool to see that they're working well together there. You can see a little bit further on back, Jax Duvall, Rick Seabrins, Chad Lancaster, Nick McClellan, all right outside the top 10, trying to find themselves a way into this one as we take a peek here at the front 17 or so cars. And it's awesome to see. Great racing already here, working lap number 2. These drivers giving each other a lot of room on track just to be able to feel the cars out just a little bit, feel out the track and see what's going to change as the night goes on. We've made mention a couple of times here in these long 80-lap races. The conditions change as far as the weather, the sun, the light around the track, and it gets hotter, cooler, the wind picks up, it dies down. There's all sorts of different dynamics in this iRacing service that these drivers are going to be battling with. And oh, by the way, there's also 33 other race cars that are out on track that are trying to beat you to the punch, beat you to the finish. But you can see right now, everybody pretty much single file up towards the front for at least 10, 15 rows or so. Michael Carpenter back there in the 5 car picking up a lot of spots. Freddie Dursock Sr. in the number 7. Looks like he's up 8 spots on the evening here. And you can take a peek there at that number 7 car and timing and scoring, getting a little bit on the wonky side. We're trying some new things here on Verdane TV to try and get the quality of the picture up, so to speak here. So trying a couple of things here, which it seems like everything appears to be working okay. So that's definitely good news here at Verdane TV as we focus in here on the top half of the field here. Kyle Hendricks, Rob Collier still holding on to the lead. You can see they've got about 3 car lengths now over that number 2 car of Matt Telder. He's got about 6 spots gained on the evening. 933 Buick right up in there as well. There you can see him, Leon Tennyson, holding on to the top 5, as well as Taylor Laskowski and Wesley Hogue. And these 2 drivers have kind of been working together here. You can see running a little DEI throwback there, the 83 in the Steve Park Pennzoil ride, it's 38 in the Dale Jr. Budweiser machine. That's cool. That's kind of one of those things that you get to see here in the sim racing world. A little throwback to some of the greats, and these 2 guys work together very, very well in the super speedway races, whether it's Liberty Racing League or a pickup race, or even back in the Verdane racing days. And you can see Taylor just trying to cut a hole through the traffic here a little bit. Wes doing everything he can to try and hold on to the back of the tail end of his teammate there, but he's going to fall back in line here. And I've been talking to Wes a lot over the past few weeks here at Liberty Racing League. Very, very hungry driver, and he knows that he needs to get himself a couple of wins here. At least a win. Car sideways. That's going to be John Ballou, former race winner. See if we can catch it. There it is. Big time hit there for the National Guard, number 88. It looks like we're going to stay green, though, outside of the racing crew, down below that yellow line. Staying green for the time being as we take a peek back up front. Still Kyle Hendricks holding on to it. And there you can see about 5, 6, 7 cars right in a row there. A little bit of a blinking issue there for Wes Hogue running in P5 right now. Struggling with that internet connection in past weeks. But we're talking to Wes over the past few weeks, whether it's on SlamDraftin with Liberty Racing before the shows or even before we go on air throughout the week. Wes is hungry. He wants to get that championship belt. He's been chasing it. Ooh, big time contact for the 2 outside of the Matt Telda machine into the outside safer barrier. Big time hit on the right side of that race car. Almost collects Wesley Hogue right across, but Wes is going to shake it off. He's going to try and get around that number 3 car of Foskey to take that position, and indeed he does. He's going to slide right up in there. It's a scary moment for the 38 car, but he's hungry. He wants to get himself a win here in the Liberty Racing League. Wants to make the playoffs. Wants to put up a fight, put up a big fight for that championship belt. One of the coolest trophies in sim racing that I've seen in a very long time. And I don't say that because it was originally my idea 10 years ago with Verdane Racing, but it is very cool. It's very unique. And being able to see that belt live on SlamDraftin with Liberty Racing last week on Verdane TV was very, very cool. You can go over to Liberty Racing League on Facebook to check that out. There's a little bit of a video clip there of where Wes kind of left the show live and went out, high-fived the UPS man, and in came the championship belt. So a little bit of extra motivation in the Hogue camp. He's going to try and get himself that championship belt. But before we can even talk about championship implications at the end of the season, we still got to get through this race here this evening. And right now, 8 laps in, it's all Hendricks, all Collier up in the front. Keniston running in 3rd, and Lasaski and Hogue are going to be 4th and 5th. Foskey, after a big pancake there out in the outside safer barrier, he's going to hold on to the 6th position for right now. And you can see just a little bit of damage there on that. Speaking of damage and speaking of safer barrier, Nick McClellan, no, that's not Nick McClellan. That's actually going to be, I believe, the 77 car, 35 car, potentially. One of the cars, that green car, slapped the outside wall there. It looks like he may or may not be a couple of laps down here. But that's one of the things that drivers are really going to have to deal with. And especially you saw that last shot, the sun really glaring off the pavement of this racetrack. And you'll be, as we ride on board, we'll see if we can take a little onboard shot. We'll ride on board with our 2nd place driver, Rob Collier. Won last week, won the Verdane.net 500. And there you can see big time sun glare coming through that windshield. Luckily, it's only a couple of seconds there getting into turn number 2. And as you get down into 3, down the backstretch here and into 3 and 4, you don't really have to worry about that sun too much, but definitely getting into turn number 2, that's going to be something these drivers are going to be focusing on and having to deal with for At least the first part of the race. As the night goes on, that sun will set. It will get darker here at Talladega, and we won't have to deal with that sun glare too much. But it really doesn't seem to be slowing these drivers down all that much. You can see Hendricks and Collier have themselves about a 3-4 tenths of a second lead over Keniston there in the 933. And then it's another second and a half, almost 2 seconds back to the 83 and the 38, who not really, they are hooked up. They are drafting a little bit together, but you can see Wes having some connection issues in that 38 car. Makes it very difficult to try and draft with anybody, let alone your teammates. So those guys just kind of hooked up right now. Hopefully those connection issues, those woes get taken care of for the 38 car, and we'll be able to see Hogue and Laskowski see if they can kind of motor their way up onto their way to the front. You can see Foskey in the 3 car right in behind there, just kind of holding on to the draft. Nothing crazy, not really pushing the issue too much here up in the top 10. There you see Nick McClellan in the 12 car. A little bit of a challenge, it looks like, from Jared Bolliard. Going to go high, going to go low, going to take that Hardy's machine and see if he can get down and around and get a little bit further up rankings just a bit, following along there on the left-hand side of your screen with the Dane TV scoring tower, brought to you by SDK Gaming. Got to give those guys a shout-out, as they gave us all the information we need to do these shows here live. Right in behind Bolliard, you've got Matt Telder in the number 2 car. Rick Seaburns is there, Jax Duval, Matt Swope, James Mayer, Mark Mann all up in this mix as well. Mark Mann actually back in this third pack with James Mayer, Don Ashton, Michael Carpenter, Donovan Gerald, Elliott Swope, Darren Mack back here in the 59 as well. So kind of spread out here, 10, 11 laps in. You can see it's definitely a drafting track a little bit, but a lot of these drivers really focusing on the handling of the race car itself and focusing in on the aero as well. There's a lot that goes into these race cars. These drivers know it, and they're really showing it up towards the front. Hendricks holding on, leading, I think, all but the first lap so far. Collier there in second, his teammate for Zip Tie Racing. Keniston, Hogue, and Laskowski to be the top 5. Back on track and still caution-free here. 18 laps into the bshow.info New Year's resolution. 80 laps on the docket. There you see it. We're working lap number 18. Still a Hendricks up front. Collier there in second. Hogue has moved up to P3. Foskey in 4. And Lasowski there in P5. Keniston drops back to 6. Jared Bollier in 7. McClellan in 8. Seabrins and Duval going to round out the top 10 so far. And you can see these drivers pretty much spread out, taking their time early on into this one as we come up on the 1/4 mark here, getting ready to cross the stripe to take lap number 19. And you can see that these drivers pretty spread out, pretty single file throughout. They are coming up on a couple of lap cars here that they're able to kind of get around. These drivers may have lost the draft either early on, not quite getting up to snuff there on the start, or whatever the case may be, but kind of picking them off one by one here as we get into this one. And you can see the 38 car utilizing that draft, getting up to the back bumper, almost to the back bumper there, of Rob Collier in that 02 car. And this is a really good opportunity for Wes to see what he's got. He's riding behind right now a couple of really powerhouse drivers working together there for Zip Tie Racing, with Hendricks and Collier up in 1 and 2. And Collier, definitely no slouch in the super speedway racing scene. Has won himself 2 races so far this season here with Liberty Racing League. Last week's race at iRacing Super Speedway, and the season opener, the Daytona 500, the Vidane.net 500 at Daytona, coming home with the big victory there in that super long race, one of the longest races we put on here at Vidane TV, and that was an absolute blast to really bring out some of the entertainment here, just like we're doing here tonight, live and interactive throughout the interwebs. We are over on Facebook for Vidane TV. Give us a like, a subscribe, a share, a follow, all that good stuff. We're over on the YouTube page. Just do a quick search for Vidane TV on YouTube. We'll pop right up with the live feed. And it's looking like we're finally having, well, no, I don't want to say finally, but we have ourselves some green flag pit stops there. Mess up towards the front. Big rock. Wesley Hogue around in the grass, down on the inside, safe for barrier. Little bit of a botch ski there for the drivers that's coming down pit road here for the very first time under green. And that's something that we talked about with Rob Collier earlier on in SlamDraftin with Liberty Racing, the little podcast that we have before the show here tonight on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you haven't checked it out, check it out next week. We have a lot of fun on that show. But Rob and I were talking that we do have a lot of green flag stops here in the Liberty Racing League. So that's one of the things that the drivers are going to have to kind of focus on and really do a lot of practice there. And a lot of times when you do have that last final 60 minutes in practice, and even sometimes in the open qualifying, you're able to kind of utilize that time to get it out on track and test it out on track, see how the car feels, and you don't even necessarily think to come down pit road and make sure that you've got your entry and exit. But there you can see another handful of drivers coming down pit road off the lead lap. Keniston's down here. Lasowski in the 83 stayed out, led a lap. He's going to come down. Rick Seabrans, Jared Bollier, Nick McClellan, Matt Telder, Michael Carpenter, James Mayer, Foskey, and you had Collier, Hendricks, Gibson. All those drivers came down the last time by, and there you can see getting ready to leave in the 02 car. So just a quick little splash and go, and there you can see up front, it's going to be Taylor Lasowski in that Pennzoil number 83 car. He's gained 10 spots from where he qualified, but he's going to give up that lead right now. Going to come down the pit road, get some fuel and some tires. Looks like he's going to bring Jax Duval there in the 84 car right in behind him. You can see he's going to peel off and join the 83 down on pit road, and believe that's going to cycle everybody through here. Got to take a peek. There's Jared Bolliard in the 97 car coming off pit road. He's leading that pack off, being shown here as the leader, it looks like. And as we kind of look around here, you can see Foskey and Wes Hogue have kind of hooked up. They came down a lap or two ago. Those two drivers kind of working together, getting the draft up. There you can see the 4 car going to kind of join the mix. So the 3 car, I believe, indeed he does, as we look at the timing and scoring, they're going to cycle through as the leader. Wes Hogue going to be in P2. Bolliard, pardon me, Jared Bolliard, former champ in the 97 car, going to be up in the top 3, top 4, as well as Rick Seabrans and Leon Keniston, as green flag pit stops for the first time round out. There you can see Taylor Lasowski going to come down off of pit road very slowly down underneath that apron as the caution flag flies here for the very first time. So the way we've got things set up here for the broadcast, I do not believe we're going to be able to get a U-House Racing Designs instant replay on that incident, but does bring out the caution flag here on lap number 23, just after getting wrapped up with green flag pit stops. So probably going to end up seeing a couple of these drivers come down pit road, top off on fuel, maybe get a little of the damage taken care of here, and kind of rejoin the field here. But man, what a heck of a break for the 83 car. Lasowski just getting back up to speed after exiting pit road, and with other drivers already out on track, being able to kind of close that distance, the 83 car able to stay out just long enough. And the caution flag flies. He's going to come back with the lead here on lap number 24. So the field getting slowed down here for the first caution flag of the night, and it's looking like the 83 going to try and potentially come down pit road. Indeed, he is. He's going to bring a couple of cars down there with him as well, so that's kind of interesting after just coming off pit road here. Definitely having a fuel mileage in mind here in this one. 80 laps long distance here at Talladega. A couple of cars electing to stay out. It looks like Foskey and the number 3 car are going to stay out, lead himself a lap here under caution. Keniston and the 933 going to stay out as well. The 12 of McClelland. Donovan Gerald and the 24 car are going to stay out, but it appears everybody else in behind going to come down pit road. Up as I say that, it looks like the 28 again. Pardon me, Gibson going to stay out on track, and we'll get that caught up as you can see timing and scoring, trying to get everything kind of caught up. And man, it's always fun to see the different races all the way around the racetrack, and especially down on pit road. You can see some drivers pretty much just coming down for a splash of fuel, topping the tank off, making sure they've got enough for a full 20-lap run, and making it so they've only got to stop one, potentially maybe 2 more times here at Talladega. And we're working lap number 25, bshow.info. Tonight's sponsor, the B. The B stands for best. I don't think it actually does. I'll have to get up with Joe to find out what that is. But www.bshow.info. Definitely check them out, as well as Doorstop Nation. The door stops here. And make sure you get all the information off of that website. Get hooked up on the social medias. Get over to the Etsy page. Get yourself one of those door stops. They're only $1. Yeah, come on. You can't go wrong. Check those out. As well as Vidane.net. It's getting cold out there. Grab your sweatshirts, your beanies, your hats, all that good stuff. There's some gym shorts in there, all sorts of cool stuff with the Vidane TV logo, Angry Tree Guy, Rent a Race Car, Visual Pollution, as well as the Liberty Racing League. And hearing some of the drivers as they've ordered some t-shirts from the Vidane.net virtual merchandise hauler, and very comfortable. The sizes are as advertised, and the colors pop right out of it. Big shout out to Sean, who picked up a couple of shirts last week and got them in the mail this week, and rocking them here. Not in the race here tonight. Wasn't able to get enough practice laps in for these 87 cars, so wanted to kind of set this one out, check it in on the old Vidane TV conglomerate. And here we are, live on Vidane TV, all over the place. Live on the Vidane TV Facebook page. Give us a like, a subscribe, a share, and let your friends and family know that you're watching a little bit of iRacing action here on a Tuesday night. We're live on the YouTube page as well. Do a quick search for Vidane TV. It'll pop right up, especially if you do it on a smart TV with that YouTube app. Take a little picture, snap it up, and throw it up on the Twitter box, and use that hashtag VidaneTV to join the conversation. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're pulling for, and who you think is going to come home with that championship belt at the end of the Liberty Racing League season, as well as the Twitch page. Shoot on over to twitch.tv/strictly94. Do a lot of gaming over there as well. A lot of Grand Theft Auto stuff. Shout out to the True Fiction crowd, truefictionrp.com. Lots of cool stuff all over the place. Lots of stuff coming up here on Vidane TV in the next few weeks as well. Tomorrow night, Tim's Corner Motorsports, Tim's Corner Live, going to be the awards show, the very best of 2022 up in Maritime, Canada. That's going to be an absolute blast. You never know who's going to show up for the virtual awards banquet. That's going to be a blast. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night. Thursday night, NEP is back in action right here on Vidane TV. Going to be racing for a championship, and all those drivers know that they want to try and knock off the champ. John Peters, 3 times reigning and defending series champion. Having a little bit of a slow start this season, but going to try and come home with that 4th championship trophy in a row. And then on top of all that, lots of cool stuff coming up on Vidane TV. Kart racing next Tuesday night, off tonight for a little New Year's celebration, as it were. And lots of stuff coming up in the new year as well. Liberty Racing League, NEP, Tim's Corner Motorsports, as well as the real racing side of things here. Just announced not more than a day, maybe 2 days ago, this guy right here, Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr., returning to Stafford Motor Speedway's Street Stock Division on July 14th. It's a Friday night. That is a Friday night after the SRX Series. It debuts this season, kicks things off for the SRX Series at Stafford Motor Speedway. And, oh, by the way, that's Loudon weekend as well. And you bet this cat's going to be up there at a Loudon, New Hampshire Speedway for the wheeling race, the Xfinity race on Saturday, as well as the Cup race on Sunday. And I'm bringing a great big case of Vidane TV t-shirts. So if you're in the area, if you're in Southern New England, if you're not in New England, come on up, watch some racing. It's going to be a heck of a show. A little bit of a pilgrimage, so to speak, but we're looking forward to all that. But before we get there, got to take that green flag once again. A little bit different up towards the top. Foskey and the 933 of Kenniston, they stayed out. Everybody else came down and at least took fuel, and you can see really getting sorted out early up towards the front, already single file for about 6-8 rows deep as we work lap number 27. Getting a little slicey and dicey up towards the front, getting even more slicey and dicey back there towards the mid-pack or so. And you can see kind of doubled up side by side. There's the 15 and the 02. They're mired back in 15th and 16th place for the 02 machine. And we saw those guys before pit stops leading 1 and 2. They didn't really, nobody else, other than those 2 drivers, they were the ones that led all the laps earlier on. So going to be interesting to see. They've got plenty of time to get back up towards the front. 52 laps to go here at Talladega, and they're just kind of biding their time right now, holding on to the clean race cars that they've got, and they're going to see if they can make a little magic happen. Speaking of making magic happen, how about that Hardy's ride? Jared Bollier, the champ in the 97 car, down on the bottom side with help. Foskey in the 3 right up on his back bumper, trying to push him down and around that 933 car. Kenniston up on that top side, and there you see a big push for the 3. Not really slamming into the back of him, but just giving him enough of a push to kind of get on up there. You can see the 97 drifts up just a little bit, trying to break the air a little bit for that 933 car. He's got to watch that bottom line, though. The 3 car has some help now with that 38 car of Rowdy Wesley Hogue right in behind him. So that's going to be something that's really going to have to be in the peripheral vision there for the 97 car. He's got someone right in behind him with the 3 of Foskey, but he's got that hungry driver in the 38 car, Wes Hogue. We've talked to him time and time again. The owner and race official here for Liberty Racing Series wants to get himself a win. The competition has never been stronger, never been better here in the Liberty Racing League, and he's going through these races, not been able to close. We get a little 3-wide action there for second, and Wes is going to move on up the scoring pylon all the way up to P2, and now you can see tucked right into the tire tracks of the 933 of Kenniston, as we come out of turn number 4, thundering on down the front straightaway. We're going to cross the stripe to take lap number 30. 50 laps to go here at Talladega for the bshow.info New Year's resolution. There you see Hogue moving into the lead, but very shortly Foskey going to take it down to the bottom side in that 3 car. How cool is it to see the 3 car race against the... Oh, hard hit! Big wreck! Huge wreck. Car to the outside wall, collecting another couple of cars there as well. James Merritt involved. We're going to try. There we go. We got the live shot on our screen. Wreck on lap number 30. Second caution flag flies here at Talladega. So what this does here is it gives us an opportunity to pull up the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. Shout out to U-House Racing Designs for hooking us up with a little bit of partnership, helping us out and getting some awesome stuff out there. That was Osowski in the yellow 83 car that found himself pointed in the wrong direction. We're going to take a look once again from high atop the blimp here, because there is a lot of action going on in this. So we'll take a look and see exactly what it was that brought us out under caution, and we'll back that up one more time because sometimes when you hit the live button, it just ignores everything you just rewound in the tape. So we'll back that up one more time so we can give you the shot that we were just talking about. And man, a lot of cars involved in this one, and it definitely looks like a bit of a racing deal. Focus in on the left-hand side of your screen. It starts up with the yellow car, the 83 Lisowski, gets a big bump, gets him out of shape, goes down, tries to collect it there down on the apron, comes back up into the racing groove, and unfortunately takes out a handful of cars there. The 24 involved, the 80, the blue and white car. I can't tell what number that is. But really a couple of big hits here as well. Here's a couple of drivers that saw the smoke and just really didn't quite get on the binders as hard as they maybe should have. There's another little bit of a contact there. So a lot of drivers getting themselves tore up in this one. And there you can see as we get back to the live shot, lots of drivers taking advantage of this one. They know that we had a little bit of a fuel mileage race in that first race coming down to it. And you don't want to lose a race to fuel mileage. It's one of the toughest things to really plan against here in the sim racing and the real racing world. But you can see Nick McClellan there and the 12 car going to stay out, as well as Jackson Duvall going to restart potentially in the second spot. But everybody else coming down pit road, and it looks like Wes Hogue going to come out P3, going to lead the race off pit road there. So good spot to be in for sure. As you can see, the rest of the field coming on down pit road. And we made mention we're live and we are interactive throughout the interwebs here this evening. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. We're on Twitter. I've got a TikTok. Definitely find us, follow us, and be entertained, because that's what we shoot for here at Vidane TV. Just taking a look over at the YouTube chat. Brian Caudle looking for some green flag racing. It's about to start. Cody, shout out from Alaska. Warm day, 0 degrees. How about that? It is hot up there. 0 degrees is a good opportunity to get over to Vidane.net, grab yourself like 4 hooded sweatshirts, and just kind of wear them all at the same time. I got some family up in Alaska. It's always cold up there, no matter what. So definitely shoot that out. Doorstop Nation's watching. How about that? Recovering in Las Vegas from a little bit of a vacation there. Joe, always good to see you. Mara Clark, let's go 04. How about that? Cody was going for the 22 car. Fret Level Midnight Motorsports looking for Anderson to come home with a victory. So always live and interactive here at Vidane TV. Give us a shout out. Let us know who you're watching, where you're watching from, who you're pulling for. And again, if you got a big screen hooked up, if you're in the shop, the living room, wherever, you got a projector or a big screen TV and you're watching us live on that, man, snap a picture, give us a little bit of a gang sign and post it up on the Twitter, hashtag Vidane TV, and be sure to tag us in it as well. Speaking of social media, we started talking about all the cool things coming up here in the 2023 season. Really looking forward to it. There's going to be a lot of, not changes, but a lot of additions here to Vidane TV. We're working on upgrading a lot of our equipment here at Vidane TV HQ, a lot of the hardware and software that puts these live videos out to the viewers, to the fans, and to potential sponsors and every other thing. So, big pardon. Lots of changes in that aspect, and we're going big picture here. We got a lot of coals in the fire, so to speak. We are going to be returning. Vidane TV is going to be returning as a sponsor for the number 6 street stock at Stafford Motor Speedway from the Rent-A-Race car fleet. That's actually going to be the car that I'll be piloting the night after the SRX Series visits Stafford Motor Speedway. So if you're in the area, check out the SRX race, Thursday Night Thunder on July 13th. July 14th, check out this cat in the Vidane TV number 6 car. And, oh, by the way, Speaking of Verdane TV and Stafford Motor Speedway, going to be sponsoring the Alex Bonato entry this year as well. That is the son of a race car driver, third generation race car driver in the Bonato family. Been able to kind of sit back and watch Alex grow up from a punk little kid to, well, a punk adult. And it's going to be cool to be able to support him with Verdane TV. Very supportive, really the whole Bonato family supportive of our deal here at Verdane TV, and actually looking forward to hanging out with those cats this weekend. My drinking team has a racing problem, and we may very well do a little live session from the Bonato bar on New Year's Eve. It's gonna be rough. But we might do it. We might check that out. But man, lots of action coming up. Lots of stuff going on in 2023. Really looking forward to it. Still booking rides and still looking for leagues and other games and anything else. We're open to suggestions. We're open to ideas. If you've got a game or a sim or a race or something that you want to broadcast, something you want to get out to the masses, something you want to try and entertain folks with, slide in our DMs. Get us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch, any of the social media outlets, and bounce your ideas off of us, because we are absolutely looking to fill up our schedule for 2023 and beyond, and we're still rocking a couple of little discount deals here for the holidays at the end of the season here, the end of the year, and might even throw a couple of pickup races in throughout the next couple of days, as it's the last week of 2022, and this is the last little bit here of lap 33, the last little bit of our second caution, as we file them on down the 12 and the 84 up towards the front, and they are side by side. Trailer Park Dude, appreciate it, brother. Good. Got a little subscription there on the Twitch. Appreciate that, 100%. And Apollyon, I definitely butchered that name. Pulling for the 91 car. Oh, wait, that's him. He's just getting home. The 87s look cool on track. They do look cool on track. And the 91, that's going to be Sean. He's the guy that bought those T-shirts and gave us the kind words. So if you're not going to listen to me, listen to Sean. Those shirts are comfy. Got to check them out at Verdane.net. Green flag flies here on lap number 34. These guys know we're getting close to the halfway point. As you can see, 2-3 wide now going down the backstretch. That 3-car getting hooked up with the old Budweiser machine with Rowdy Wesley Hogue behind the wheel of that. Foskey down on the bottom. Massive push from Hogue in that 38 car. He's going to try and get up towards the front, lead himself a couple of laps. He wants to get as many bonus points as he can. Really wants to get a win, but really focused in on those points. Has had a couple of issues where you can see it there, having some internet connection issues down there in the Jacksonville area. So trying to get that hooked up, trying to maybe even potentially get an internet provider to get in there and sponsor that 38. Can we make that happen, internet? Can we try that out in any sense? Lap 35 here, side by side throughout the entire field, weaving and bobbing, trying to get take advantage. Trying to take advantage of the arrow that these bricks, we've heard them say, they really punch a big hole in the air, and it's really helpful if you're able to tuck up and draft in behind somebody with these cars. And we've seen a lot of drivers do it. There you can see the 4-car coming up in. We've seen Sebrins up in the top 10 throughout most of the night. First appearance here in the top 5 for that number 4 car, and you can see he's the second car there in a line behind Rowdy Hogue. Earlier in the 97 car rejoining the top 5 there on the bottom side, bringing the Hardee's machine back up to lunch. The 84 up on the high side of Duval, Swope, Keniston, Collier, and Mann going to the top 10 as they run. Front 5, 6 cars or so, kind of single file. You can see Sebrins down on the bottom side in that 4-car, trying to make something happen with that bottom line. Not really able to get any kind of momentum just yet, as we're 2-3 laps away or so from that halfway marker here. The bshow.info New Year's resolution. And again, check out bshow.info. Lots of podcasts, wrestling, racing, all sorts of cool stuff, as well as Doorstop Nation. Get the doorstops here. Check out that Etsy page. Get one of those doorstops ordered for every door in your household. They're only $1, and they're handmade by Joe himself from Doorstop Nation. And it's, for me, real cool thing, because that doorstopnation.com decal was on the third place finishing 2011 Daytona 500 car in the NASCAR Cup Series for Front Row Motorsports. So how cool is it to be able to kind of support someone that supports sim racing and real racing, and is a big supporter there of Front Row Motorsports back in the day. Hard to think. That was 11 years ago. Almost 12. Holy moly. Been around doing this sim racing deal for a very, very, very long time, and wouldn't really have it any other way here on a Tuesday night. Just like this guy up front doesn't really want to have it any other way. The 38 car to the lead on lap 38. Caution flag flies as Collier tries to take a peek down low. We'll see if we can pull up the U-House Racing Designs instant replay and find out what it was that brought us out under caution for the third time here this evening. Back on track here under the floor caution here at the halfway marker. 40 laps down, 40 laps to go. Collier up in the front, having to take a peek here. See if we can go through the field. Wes Hogue back to fifth, so some pit strategy coming down in this one. Looking like about 20 to 25 laps is about how far these drivers can go on a tank of fuel. So that's going to be something we're going to keep an eye on here throughout the second half of this race. And man, it's been a great race here so far. Still have 40 laps to get down and dirty with these drivers here in the Liberty Racing League, and still have time to put on a heck of a show. And Made mention live and interactive. Got to give a shout out to Trailer Park Dude and Sean over on Twitch with the subscriptions there, some bits and bops and cheers and all sorts of cool stuff. So we appreciate that. It definitely helps us out more than you guys know on the social media, especially with the YouTube, the Twitch, the Facebook, TikTok, all that stuff. You find us, give us a like, a subscribe, a share. Let us know that we're entertaining you. If you're entertained, we're going to keep going on with this deal that we call Vidane TV here, and we've been doing it going on 3 years now. Hard to believe. This March is going to be 3 years. Vidane TV has been in existence, kind of kicking things off throughout the early stages of the COVID pandemic, and it's kind of a rough time to get through, but kind of cool to be able to see what came out from the ashes of that whole scary situation that we had kind of going on worldwide. So Vidane TV kind of jumping up and being a staple here, and it's great to be in here with you. It's great to be in your living room, your bedroom, your garage, wherever you're watching us here on Vidane TV. We like the support. We appreciate it, and you can shoot on over to Vidane.net. Be sure to check out those t-shirts, those sweatshirts. Like I said, I'm wearing one of those Angry Tree Guy sweatshirts right now. Very, very comfortable, very warm, and the colors pop right out of it. Sean knocked that, pardon me, review. Knocked that review right out of the park. So appreciate the support, Sean. Especially over on Twitch as well. And throughout the social media, we made mention again, YouTube, Facebook, like, subscribe, share, follow, cheer, all that good stuff. It lets your friends and family know that you support us here at Vidane TV, and we're always looking to bring new faces, new ears to this sport of e-racing, of sim racing, because as much as everybody wants to put up the argument, it is a sport, it's an e-sport, and it's a thing, and it is coming to prime time. Just like these drivers are lined up 2 by 2. How about this front row? Collier, 2-time winner so far this season in the O2 car. Down on the bottom side, former Super Speedway Series champion. Bolliard up in the top side. Jarrett in the 97 going to hold on to that second spot, try and lead that high side around the outside, Green flag flies once again. Collier, great jump already, 2/3 of a second over that second line. You can see that Bud car, Hogue, having some connection issues still. Trying to get that all sorted out as he runs up in the top 5. Good run there for Foskey in the number 3. Going to kind of set in the tire tracks for right now of that O2 car of Foskey. Boom for 9:33 at Keniston. Takes a peek on the high side, shoots on down to the bottom side. Doesn't have much help down on the bottom. You can see he's able to kind of close up just a little bit. But once they get into the corners, he's actually going to push Bolliard up. Bolliard stays there. He's going to try and drift, squeeze right back into that line, but you saw the O2 and the 3 kind of drift on down to pick up the 933. And there you can see the front 4 cars. Single file, little side-by-side action there for 5th on back. Hogue down on the bottom side, Swope in the 82 up towards the front. That's one of those iRacing Warrior cars getting their way up towards the front. Those guys get hooked up. It's going to be danger close for the rest of the field, because we've seen the Swope and Swope connection, as well as Michael Carpenter and everybody else with the Warrior Motorsports team. Those cats can draft, and they can draft very, very well. There you can see the 82 car up on the high side. Currently scored in the 6th position, and trying to make a little magic happen up there. He's got his teammate in behind him, and they're just looking for an opportunity to maybe open a door either forcefully, or maybe the door opens by itself. They want to get up towards the front. They want to do it now. You want to make sure that you know how your car is going to react in the clean air, in the dirty air, up in the lap traffic, and every which scenario as we cross the stripe here to start lap number 44. And you can see these drivers know they're in the second half of this race. A little slicing and dicing. How about a little 3-wide action up there for second? Collier, Bolliard, Hogue down on the bottom, Bolliard into center, Collier all the way up in the high side, high, wide, and handsome to the O2 car. Going to get a little bit of help from the leader, Foskey. He's going to go all the way up to the high side of the track. The 933 going to go down below the yellow line. Going to have to actually check up a little bit and hand some of those positions back. The 82 up into the outside wall. Looks like he's going to hold on to it. Pointed in the right direction, but man, oh man, going to drop all the way back, looking at 14th, 15th, 16th on back. May very well be outside the top 20 by the time that pack gets down and around him here. But there you see Foskey still holding on to the lead, and he's got 3 challengers side by side right in behind him. Collier still up towards the top. Jarrett Bolliard in the second. Wes Hogue in third, or down on the bottom side. Wes has his teammate now behind him, Tyler Osowski, right in behind him with a Pennzoil number 83 car. Wes is going to go all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack because he knows Tyler's going to jump in behind him. Look at the run that they're able to hook up on the bottom side. They're going to be able to take the short way around the racetrack down on that yellow line through turns 3 and 4. Going to be a big run for those two cars. Jared Bolliard sliding in between there. And that's going to be another driver that works very well with these two drivers. A lot of history with the Super Speedway Series with those three drivers hooked up on that bottom line. You can see now almost 3 wide for the lead here working lap number 46. Hogue has it for now. Bolliard currently scored in second. A little side-by-side action with he and Foskey there in the number 3. Taylor Lazowski there in the 83 in P4. Telder, Sebrins back and forth there for the top 5. Collier's up in the mix. Blue, haven't talked about the 62 car all night long. Won that second race of the season, currently being scored in 8th position. McClellan there in 9th, and we made mention that 5 car of Carpenter trying to break into the top 10, trying to bring some of his teammates up through the field there with him. Little single file action for the front 5-6 cars or so as they get sorted out just a little bit, all following Wes Hogue in that 38. Wes Hogue struggling with the connection issues. You can see jumping down to the bottom side. That's a tough move to make. That's a tough call to make, but for the better of the race in the league, you're having connection issues. You got to drop to the back of the pack and get that all sorted out. You can see still struggling with that connection. That is one of the tough decisions that Wes has to make in this series. He's the big boss man, as it were. He runs the show, but he wants to come home and show these drivers that he's no slouch when it comes to wheeling these race cars around these super speedways. Very hungry driver, wants to get that championship belt there at the end of the season. Been chasing it for 10 years, and unfortunately connection issues knocking him out of contention in this one. Has a little bit of time to hopefully potentially get it fixed here with 32 laps to go, but it's going to slide the 97 car up towards the front for the very first time this evening. Jared Bolliard going to lead as they cross the stripe. So less than 24 laps to go here in this one, 23 to be exact. Got one more pit stop that these drivers are going to have to try and plan out here. And I got a feeling we saw it happen last week at iRacing Super Speedway. We'll see what happens here at Talladega. A little bit smaller of a racetrack. At iRacing Super Speedway, we were able to see a lot of short pitting. Drivers knew they could make it on 20 laps, make it 20 laps on a tank of fuel. So they would come down pit road under green with 20 laps to go, just to come down, make sure they got the fuel in the car, ready to rock and roll. I've got a feeling we'll see a little bit of that action here tonight at Talladega. We might see some of these drivers take the chance, roll the dice just a bit, under green flag, come down, grab that splash of fuel, and be done with pit road. As you can see, Collier going to try and retake the lead. Retakes it with ease with that teammate of the 15 car of Hendricks in behind him, and they slide right on up in front of the 88 car. The 35 going to join the party as well. What can Brown do to you? You can move him on up into the podium spot right there. The Browns Automotive number 35 car rocking that P3 spot. He's gained a whole bunch of positions here, qualifying back in the 17th position. He's looking for a podium finish here tonight with 22 laps to go. Side-by-side action, the 35 car trying to kind of rustle some feathers up towards the front, gets down the 88 car, a little bit of contact it looked like, down below the yellow line, gathers it back up, rejoins the racing surface, and it looks like he's going to fall back just a little bit. Still inside the top 10, we're going to lose a little bit of track position. Here's the 24 car down on the apron as well. That's going to be Donovan Jarrell. Looks like coming off of pit road, the 24 car is. So we're already seeing it, 21 laps to go. Drivers coming down pit road, trying to take a little bit of advantage of coming down early on, and we will definitely see what the deal is as we get down to it. And there you can see that duo back to it. Collier and Hendricks, the 02 and the 15 hooked up bumper to bumper. They've got themselves a little bit of a gap between their position and third. You can see Brown still holding on to it. And there you see it, 20 laps to go. The leaders coming down pit road, locking tires up. Both drivers in the 02 and the 15 locking the tires up, coming down to it. It looks like they were able to get those cars wound up. There may not be a speeding penalty, but I got to figure that's going to kind of force their hand just a little bit. They're going to have to take tires to take away that flat spot that they just got. But that's going to hand that race over to Nathan Brown in the 35 car. First time he's been up front all day long, and you can see they're coming up on some drivers that have come off pit road already. And these guys are going to be getting put down a lap for the time being. Once the pit stops kind of cycle back out, I think that'll get all taken care of. But how about it? The Browns Automotive number 35 car holding on to a 0.3 of a second lead over Matt Telder there in second. And here comes another slew of cars. This is going to get slicey and dicey in a big way. 3 wide entering into pit road. Looking slicey and dicey. 88 car gets a little bit of a bump from Foskey. Foskey gets turned around, and the number 3 car on pit road gathers it back up. Huge mistake. That's going to be very, very costly for the number 3 car. Man, oh man, as we get down to it, potentially the final pit stop of the night, and you can see just how busy pit road is. There's a couple of drivers coming out of 3 and 4, coming down that front straightaway. Going to put a little bit of distance in between themselves here. It's going to hand the lead actually over right now to the 84 car of Jax Duvall. You can see side by side now with a driver that's trying to stay on the lead lap, and it's a little bit further on back to the second place driver of Darren Mack in the 59 car. You can see he's just getting into the backstretch. So it's going to take some time to get the timing and scoring sorted out there. You can see, 84 car coming in hot. Big time lockup in the tires there. Jax Duvall coming down pit road, giving up that lead. And we'll see if we can take a peek. There is the second place driver. That's going to be the 59 of Darren Mack. 13 spots gained from where he qualified currently. Do not believe he has not come down pit road, because here he comes. You can see coming right off of turn 4, easing into the brakes, coming down to the entry. Going to come right down, get some Sunoco race fuel, and take it on back. That's going to hand the lead over potentially to Seabrands here in the number 4 car. Rick holding on to P3 right now, and he's leading this pack by a couple of car lengths. Going to come around at the entrance of pit road. Down this long dog leg, long straightaway, cross that stripe. That's going to be your leader. You're going to pick up a bonus point for leading that lap. Pretty cool. Going to be getting into championship implications here as this season unfolds. But the Yeti looking ice cold up towards the front. Looking ice hot. Looking, we'll figure it out. Yeti looking good up front. Rick Sebrins in the lead right now, but he has company. Mark Mann in the 04 car right in behind him. Jared Bolliard in the 97. Hasn't won this season. Wants to win this season. The Hardy's number 97 car shooting on up to the outside. Going to see if he can make a little magic happen up in the high, wide, and handsome district for the 97 car. Going to go all the way up into that outside Safer Barry. He's got the 2 car at Telder bumping all over the back of that race car. You see getting the 97 out of shape just a little bit in the back end of that race car, but keeps that momentum rolling. Big bump now from the 2 car, moves him on up into the lead and gives him enough room to take both cars down to that bottom side. 97 to the point, 2 to P2, and there you can see a little side-by-side action for third. Rob Collier in the 02 car. He's got Hendricks in behind him with the 15. Now Taylor's going to try and hook up with the 4 car of Seabrands and see if they can make a little magic happen. Man in the 04 car there along in the Batmobile as well for the ride. 2 by 2 by 2 for 3 rows deep. The 933 just kind of taking a front row seat to the action at this point. Not really much to do when you can drive through 6, 7, 8 race cars, but you always want to be there lurking, waiting, just in case any of these drivers make any kind of mistake. They'll be able to capitalize on that, move up a position, 2 positions, all the way up into the podium. Heck, we saw a couple of weeks ago here on Vidane TV, winner of the race ended up crossing the line with 1 to go, and P18 came home with the victory. And we've seen things like that happen here all the time on Vidane TV, and tonight may not be very different. There you can see the 2 car side by side now with Bolliard. They've got a lap car up in the windshield there, holding on to that middle groove right now with 15 laps to go. They're going to drift up the racetrack just a little bit, try and capitalize there on that middle groove, see if he can make those tires stick and make it around the leader here. Bolliard in the 97 still holding on to that high side, and that's what Jared's most comfortable. I've noticed over the past few years, kind of following along in his super speedway battles, winning himself one of those championship belts. He's going to slide back down on the bottom side and hold on to the lead for right now. And that puts the 2 car at Telder side by side with Hendricks in the 15. Rob Collier there down on the bottom side. And you can see these drivers looking. There's a big move there from Collier in the 02 car, using that draft to try and get around a little 3 wide action. A little 2 for 1 special, as it were. Jared Bolliard, big wiggle in the 97 car from the lead into the outside Safer Barrier. Might have been a little bit of contact to get to him, helped up into the outside district, slamming into that outside wall. Big hit for Bolliard. Tough break, going to lose a lot of positions. But take a look at that. That was almost a perfect slingshot move for Hendricks and Collier. Collier moving down to the bottom side, getting just enough momentum. Hendricks tucking on in to finish them off. They're back to where they were just a few laps to go before those pit stops. Collier 02 in the front, Hendricks 15 P2. They've got themselves a little bit of lap traffic up in the front with 13 laps to go, and you can see 6 cars lined up bumper to bumper to bumper, and there you can see in the mix, looking like the connection issues have been taken care of. The 38 of Hope runs in P7, and we're going to see what's that commentary curse does, because we weren't going to mention him because his internet connection was getting a little bit wonky. But we'll see what Hope can do from that 7th position. It appears everybody has taken their final pit stop of the evening. Everybody can make it here on fuel. For the most part, everybody can make it for at least 1, maybe 2 green-white checkers. So if this thing stays green, it's going to be a race to the finish. If it comes down to caution flags, may very well be some strategy put up in this one. These 87 cars eat tires for breakfast. So that might be an opportunity to come down, maybe get 2 tires, 4 tires, and a little bit of a splash of Sunoco race fuel to get them just enough to the front. And man, as we see these drivers, it's still a little slicey, a little bit dicey up in that front, but they know that there is less than 12 laps to go. We're getting down to almost single digits, and you can see that lap traffic's starting to really pick up in a big kind of way as Collier looking out his windshield, seeing an entire pack of cars, 4 or 5 cars up in that pack. And this is going to be tough for these guys to get through You can see they're kind of sorting it out, giving plenty of room. Hendricks drops way back, as you can already see. Drivers are kind of lined up in both groups here at this point, and they're going to be doing everything they can to race each other for position, but they also want to stay on the lead lap. So with 11 laps to go, really tough scenario for these leaders. They have to kind of casually, carefully get through this lap traffic before they can start really battling back and forth with some of these drivers. And you can see the 7 car really doing all he can. Dirt Stock trying to stay, check that, that is the 7 car of Dirt Stock. Trying to stay on the lead lap, a little bit of blocking action there on the leader, but was able to get around him. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there for the 95 car. He gets a little touch. He gets another little bit of a push. The leader of Collier and Hendricks get on by. Lannister gets by. The 95 car still wrecking. James Muir down and around. Down, hard hit into the inside wall. No safer barrier there. Outside of the racing group with 10 laps to go, I believe we're going to stay clean and green. Scary situation, though, for the leaders. And there you can see the old groundhog camera there in the corners. The wind is calm. The sun is, well, it's not set, but it's not in these drivers' eyes anymore. We're going to cross the stripe here with 9 laps to go. Collier in the O2 car holding on to the lead. Hendricks, his teammate, right in behind him. This is going to be interesting to see how well these drivers work together. Collier already has 2 wins on the season, winning last week at iRacing Super Speedway and the first race of the season, the Verdane.net 500 at Daytona. Hendricks has no wins yet this season. Can he work together with his teammate? Will his teammate let him get him down and around and try and lock himself into the playoffs here with a victory? Collier already in, solidly in the playoffs with 2 victories here in the first 3 races and leading this one with 9 laps to go, showing that Collier really wants to get that championship belt shipped up to Colorado. We heard earlier on here tonight, high level of confidence in that O2 camp for that championship trophy, and very cool to kind of get to know some of the drivers here with that podcast before the races here on Tuesday nights. Every single Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune into Verdane TV for SlamDraftin with Liberty Racing League. We're going to be talking to the winner of this race next week, as well as Wes and myself. And we're going to be talking a little racing, a little wrestling, a little bit of sponsorship action, and some cool stuff coming up in the 2023 season in the sim racing world and the real racing world, and all sorts of stuff. We're lined up and hooked up over on the social media outlets. We'll get that out of the way one more time here. Facebook.com/Verdane TV. Give us a like, a subscribe, a share, a follow, all that good stuff. We're over on the Twitch, twitch.tv/Strictly94, and we're over on YouTube as well. YouTube.com, the YouTube app on your smart TV, your tablet, whatever it may be. Do a quick search for Verdane TV. It pops right up. You'll be able to take a look at when we go live each and every single time here on Verdane TV. And I want to thank again everybody for tuning in, sharing your Tuesday night here with us at Verdane TV, as a couple of cars getting down to it, hearing some sheet metal slam into each other. But it looks like everybody is A-okay at this point, still pointed in the right direction. Speaking of right direction, shoot on over to Verdane.net. Use that promo code LIBERTY for the 10% off discount at checkout. Get yourself a Liberty Racing League t-shirt, sweatshirt, hooded sweatshirt, gym shorts. Caution, flag flies once again. That's just another quick opportunity. You can get to Verdane.net, order a sweatshirt, punch that promo code in, and have that thing ordered and ready to rock and roll probably by the time we go green here with probably about 4 laps to go when we take that green flag. So definitely check it out, Verdane.net. And as always, appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. All the support over on the Twitch, from the subscriptions to the cheers and the bits and everything like that. If you like what you're listening to, shoot on over to tip.verdane.net. Always appreciative of tips and donations. $3 will get us a beer. $10 will get us, well, a couple of beers, and then $25, heck, that'll probably get us DoorDash from Wendy's up the road here. So always appreciate the support here at Verdane TV. And man, oh man, are we going to have ourselves a little bit of a show here tonight. Love you too, Pat. See you soon. So coming down to it, these drivers know that they can make their way to the end of the race here without the green flag, green-white checkered. If they do, in fact, get another caution here, get that green-white checkered finish, may not have enough fuel to get to the end. You can see the Collier machine, the O2, going to dip down low on that yellow line, going to make it look like he's going to come down pit road. And you can see slowly bringing the field down to the entrance, and we're really going to be able to see here once that cone comes up, making everybody wait until the very last second. Here he comes, and he's bringing the rest of the field with him. Top 7, 8 cars coming down pit road. Big moves here for these drivers. Big move for the 04 car. Mark Mann stays out. Going to inherit the lead. He's up 12 spots from where he qualified. I'm going to take a quick peek here at the pit strategy graphic. We will see... well, that graphic is incorrect. I don't think he's been out there for 44 laps. But in any sense, Mark Mann going to stay out on track here, take over the lead, get himself a bonus point for leading that lap, and potentially could restart here with some phenomenal track position. As you can see, another handful of drivers staying out on track. Joe Lisowski, Matt Swope, Jax Duvall, John Ballou, Nathan Brown, Leon Keniston. The 7 drivers staying out on track, taking a peek back on the pit road exit. It looks like the 5 car, Michael Carpenter, he's going to win the race off pit road. Rob Collier there in second, Jarrett Bolliard and company. There's Seburn's machine, the number 4, Kyle Hendricks, Matt Telder, Bobby Anderson, Wes Hogue, Jason Foskey, all coming off of pit road here. They've got a little bit extra fuel now, so they know that they can make it to the end, and they know that they've got that little bit of cushion to try and extend this race into overtime if that indeed ends up being a thing. But 5 laps to go here at Talladega, working at the end of this one. bshow.info, New Year's Eve resolution. A couple of days before we get to New Year's Eve. That's okay, though. It's the last week of the season, or last week of the year, rather. Last week of the 2022 calendar year. And we've made mention, lots of cool stuff coming up here at Verdane TV. Having a little bit of a pilgrimage here with the real racing scene in the Northeast. Thursday nights, July 13th, the SRX Series going to be coming back to Stafford Motor Speedway. And man, oh man, the SRX race comes to town, the SRX Series rather, and it feels like you're at a NASCAR Cup Series event. There's 10,000 people crammed into that stadium, and it was absolutely electric being able to witness Doug Coby coming home with the win in the SRX Series live. Very, very cool, up at the top of the list. But at the top of the list, the next night, at the very same racetrack, this guy, Showtime Paul Strickland Jr., going to be piloting the number 6 Verdane TV Street Stock from the Renner Race Car fleet. Super excited, jumping in to the Street Stock division for my 4th time. I've got myself a top 10. I'm shooting for a second one. Very, very appreciative of Gary Spinato Jr., Paul Verricchio Jr., and everybody with Renner Race Car for giving me that opportunity to be able to race in front of all my friends and family and all the Verdane TV supporters. There's going to be a lot of NEP guys at the track that weekend, a lot of TCM guys. Well, actually, those guys are all going to be up in the Maritimes, big 250 weekend up there. So missing the 250 again, unfortunately. Hopefully next year. Going to try and get up to Canada here at some point and hang out with the Maritimes. Lots of racing goes on in Eastern Canada, just like here in the New England area, just like down south. Racetracks all over the place. Get out and support your local racetrack, dirt track, short track, whatever it may be. Find your favorite driver. Find the guy or the gal with the best personality. Ask them if they've got T-shirts. If they do, buy one. Buy a hat. Support your favorite racer. Support small track racing or short track racing. If they don't have a T-shirt, give them my number. I'll put together a design real cheap, and we'll be able to hook them up here at Verdane TV. We might even be able to hook them up and get them installed into the Verdane TV virtual merchandise hauler, Verdane.net. We might even be able to, just don't tell Wes, we're going to hand that code out to them too, but Liberty, promo code Liberty, 10% off at checkout. And man, it's cool to see that all the different sim racing leagues, real racing leagues, and everything else kind of supporting each other as we come to a close here for the 2022 year. Not the end of the season here. We're just getting things heated up. This is only race number 4. We're racing for a championship belt. Rob Collier has a commanding lead in the points, 2 wins already on this season, and he is a little bit further back here. Going to be restarting in that 7th position, but there are some fast, hungry drivers up in the front. Keep an eye on my man, Mark Mann, in the 04 car. Stayed out under this last caution. Lisowski as well in the 83 car on that Pennzoil ride on that high side. Stayed out on track, as well as Swope, Duvall, Keniston. Carpenter in the 5 back in P6. First car that came down pit road, or came off pit road. Collier, Bolliard, Seaburns, Hendricks up in the top 10. We've seen those guys up in the top 5, top 3 all night long. We'll see where they end up here with 4 laps to go. The iRacing pace car going down pit road one mo again. Gonna grab himself a corn dog and a Coke and turn these puppies loose one more time. We wait for Barney up in the flag stand as these drivers come on down to the Geico.com restart zone and take that green flag. There it is. Barney waving his heart out. 3 laps to go as we cross the stripe. Man gets the restart that he needs. Lisowski in that 83 car slides on down into P2. There you see Swope in that Warrior Motorsports ride. And the 82 car going to slide into P3. 84 Duval in P4. And they're single file for the front 3, 4, 5, 6 cars as we have 3 to go. These drivers going to get up through the gears and get up to speed as quickly as he can, slicing and dicing, weaving and bobbing, snaking their way down that backstretch. How about that move for the lead? Taylor Lisowski down in the bottom side, makes a little contact, gets down and around that 04 car, and puts a car length or 2 in between he and the 04 car. Lisowski in that 83 car up to P1. 04, a man not going to take that too lightly. Shoots up high, shoots down low, gets all the way down to the bottom side. Popsicle sticks fly. 2 laps to go. We're 3, 4 wide for second. Contact between the 82 and the 84. They sort it out. They hold on to it. Now 3 wide, 3 rows deep. All chasing the 84. Lisowski holding on to it. Drafting the high side, drafting the low side. You'll see right now. Going to slide on up in front of the 82. Try and pull him up just a little bit. Back down to block the 04. Doesn't want to give anybody too much time to make a run. There you see the 84 car up top. Duval trying to make it happen. Contact between outside and the middle line. The 84 up at the outside wall. Collier collected as well. Big wreck. Huge wreck. 3, 4 cars. Green, white, checkered. Attempt number 1. Here we come. This is going to be interesting. The 83, the 04, the 82, the 2. They didn't come down that last caution flag. We're going to have to take 2, 3 laps here under caution and then another lap or 2 under green. Do they have enough fuel to get to the end? We'll get the iRacing pace car to get them collected, to get them sorted out, and to get this one figured on out. 6 caution flag flies here in this one. We're going to take a look at that U-House Racing Design instant replay and find out, well, we saw what happened there live on the screen, but we'll take another look at it. We can do that here in the iRacing world. And again, huge shout out to U-House Racing Designs for sponsoring our instant replay here at Verdane TV. Check these guys out on Facebook. Lots of different paint schemes that Brandon U-House was able to put together. Awesome button boxes that they hand out for simulators and racing and stuff like that. I've got one hooked up here. We actually use it for some of the broadcast stuff here on Verdane TV. So check it out, U-House Racing Designs on Facebook, YRD, very cool, lots of logos and stuff there as well. But as we back this replay up, I'm going to take a peek at it from the high atop the racetrack in the Verdane TV chopper, because we've got one of those, right? There you can see a little 3-wide action and focus in here. The 83 doing everything he can to try and stay out in front of these packs. Slides on down in front of the 04, pulls him just a little bit, lets him get up, has to kind of check just a little bit, and the 82 kind of drifts up the track, and the 84 drifts down just a little bit, and there you see contact, the 83, the 02, 933 there involved, but everybody up in the front 3 here, the 83, the 04, and the 82, able to get away scot-free. So good news for those guys. Tough break for the guys in towards the back, and they gather back up behind the pace car one more time, and we'll see just how many of these green-white checkers we're going to be going through here this evening. Thirty-four drivers making the call here for race number 4, the bshow.info New Year's resolution race here, the last race of the 2022 season, or the last race of the 2022 calendar year here for the Liberty Racing League, and one more race to go on the year here for us at Verdane TV. NEP returns this Thursday night. Going to be an absolute blast in New England, Pennsylvania. iRacing Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series coming on back for another race this Thursday night. Aaron Creed joining me in the booth for that one tomorrow night. Tim's Corner Motorsports brings us Tim's Corner Live. Going to be doing the TCM 2022 awards. Most popular driver, favorite paint scheme. That's one of my favorite awards is the favorite paint schemes, because I always get to vote. And I always get to vote on the prettiest race car, which is kind of neat. But it's all going to be going down tomorrow night. And with Tim's Corner Motorsports, those big special events that we do, especially with the award show, you never know who's going to pop up and join us. So that's going to be an absolute blast. 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. Hard to keep the calendar taken care of. No car racing here tonight. They're off for the last week of the year. They're going to be coming back to us here next week, next Tuesday night, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Mazda's at different variations of road courses, and Wes going to be joining me on the call for that. Kind of neat to see. A lot of young drivers new to the sim racing side of things, but jumping in with some go-kart background. So a lot of fun watching those guys on Tuesday nights. We usually run them after the Liberty Racing League, but again, they're off tonight. Rejoining us next Tuesday night here live on Verdane TV. And just looking at the calendar here, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. The New England Motorsports Expo, I think is what it's called now. That's coming up. I think it's January 7th. I believe Rent a Race Car is going up there with the street stocks, so you can bet Verdane TV is going to be there. So be sure to come on by, give us a high five, and hey, you know what? Buy us a beer. You don't have to do that, but definitely appreciative. Going to be a lot of fun. Always cool to kind of shake the cobwebs a little bit during the winter months. Race cars get cold, and so do we. But when racing season's right around the corner, it's fun to get out there and see the cars and the drivers, and get kind of rub elbows with sponsors and partners and potential new sponsors and partners and everything like that, and really get the gears rolling, get things fired up for the racing season. It's going to be a blast all over the place. Made mention SRX series. I'm going to be jumping back in. And oh, by the way, we've got the Enduro car here. The number 94 Honda still sitting outside on jack. So we're going to be getting that put together, and you can bet your bottom dollar Verdane TV is going to be all over that car. So we're lined up 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through here on the backstretch. The iRacing lights on that pace car, they are off. That pace car going to dip on down to the safety of pit road potentially for the very last time here, and we're going to get ourselves a green, white checkered finish, and this is going to be attempt number 1. I believe we've got 3 attempts at a green, white checkered finish here. I think we used all of them last week at iRacing Super Speedway, but the first 2 races of the season relatively clean, and we've had a really good race here. Really clean race. Handful of cautions, but definitely not too worse for wear as these drivers get around this track here. 2.66 mile Talladega Super Speedway. 34 drivers making the call. Taking a peek, looks like 18, 19 or so there on the lead lap still. And you can see lined up 2 by 2. There goes the pace car. It's going to go down onto the yellow line. Going to go down onto the safety of pit road once again. And this could be the very final restart of the evening. Lasowski in the 83, man in the 04. They come down 2 by 2 down this long super straightaway. You can see the crowds are all on their feet. Their fists are in the air, pumping, ready to rock and roll and cheer their favorite driver to their victory. Green flag flies once again. Popsicle sticks once again. 2 laps to go here at Talladega Super Speedway. And there you see it. We are all ready. 3 wide. The 83 car down the bottom side doing everything he can on that double yellow line to make sure that he blocks and holds on to the lead. The 82 in behind him, giving just a little bit of a push. Bigger push coming into the straightaway, able to get that thing lined up. But that second line has momentum. They're going to do everything they can to try and get up towards the front. You can see Hendricks all the way up on the high side there, it looks like, in the 15 car, trying to make the high, wide, and handsome route work. Bolliard in the 97 car is there. The 2 at Helder, Michael Carpenter in the 5 there as well. Side by side as they come down the straightaway. The 83 going to have the advantage. The 82, car on the outside wall. Big wreck. Foskey around in the 3 car. They took the white flag. I believe we're going to race this one out. The 04 car holding on to the lead. More cars into the outside wall. Still holding on to the lead though. Mark, man, the leaders start to wreck. The 2 car gets down and around. Maverick Man has an advantage there. 3-4 car lengths, but the 2 car is coming. Here comes Wesley Hogue. In the number 38 car, has a little bit of momentum. Closes up into the back bumper of the number 2 car. Does he have enough time to get it hooked up? Hogue with a massive run. He's going to take a peek down the bottom side underneath the 2 car. Big run for the number 2 car. Going to try and close in. Man in the 04 holding on to it. Checkered flag flies, but it's side by side for the win. The 2 car going to come down to the bottom side. Second place is going to go to Wesley Hogue. Potentially they cross the stripe. Give it to Telder. The number 2 car coming home with the victory. Rowdy Wesley Hogue with a season's best second place finish. And how about Mark Mann on old tires and almost an empty racetrack coming home with that podium finish? He is going to finish P3. Brown rounds out 4th place. Swope in 5th. Liskoski, Anderson, Duval, Baloo, and McClellan going to round out the top 5. Man, I'm so excited. I almost lost my voice there. And by almost, I mean definitely happened. But there you can see it. Matt Telder coming home with the victory. Wes Hogue in second, Mark Mann in third. Going to take a peek here. Once all these drivers cross the start-finish line to find out exactly what these unofficial results will say, and we'll take a peek as well. We're going to listen in and get hooked up with the top 3 drivers here on the Turn 4 podcast post-race show. But there you can see it. Tonight's winner, the number 2 car of Matt Telder, going to get ready to burn him down here for the bshow.info show. bshow.info New Year's resolution, and doing the thing, coming all the way down to that start-finish line. And there you can see, going to burn him down, the FSR number 2 car in victory lane for the first time this season. Burning down those tires here at Talladega, coming home with the victory. And we're going to get hooked up here with our drivers that finished in the top 3. Again, Turn 4 podcast post-race show here. And we'll get everybody hooked up as well. Just trying to get these drivers kind of lined up here on the old broadcast booth and see if we can get to talking to some of these top 3 drivers. And we're not even going to let this driver finish his burnout. Matt Telder in a 2 car. Crazy run on that last lap, coming home with the victory. First off, congratulations. Great run. What was going through your mind there on that final lap? And we'll see if we can get hooked up with that winner down here in victory lane. Matt Telder in the number 2 car, burning those tires down, taking a nice slow motion shot of that. The FSR there on the hood. Coming home with a solid victory. Crazy run on that last lap. Matt, congratulations first off. Second off, what was going through your mind in that last lap?
Yeah, these cars, you got to set the run up 2 corners in advance if you're going to do something like that. So I knew I had to stay in the top 3, 4 cars right there. And then with the 83 getting really, really loose in 1 and 2, I had to go around him if I had any chance of winning it. I think I might have even hit somebody on the outside. I don't know. I wasn't, obviously. We weren't exactly checking the rearview mirror at that point in time. So, but yeah, just set the run up all the way down the backstretch, backed up turn 3 to be able to put the power down immediately halfway to the point and try and get that run off. I thought Wes was honestly going to get me coming to the line, but thankfully we pulled her off.
Next question right out of my mouth. Did you see the run that was coming with that Budweiser machine in your rearview mirror? Almost looked like he had you, and then he kind of tucked in behind you and worked with you a little bit, and then a little side-by-side between he and yourself there, and the 04 of Man. A great finish, man. Did you have, were you looking out all the windows around, or were you just kind of focusing on what was in front of you?
No, my main goal was to get under the 04, and I knew if I got under the 04, the only way I was getting beat is if Wes had a better run than I did, which... yeah, I thought I had enough gap on him coming off the corner that I could hold him off. But yeah, I looked up for a brief second. I saw him go way high out of the mirror, and he disappeared right out of my mirror. And I went, oh, here we go. So we're just looking straight out as hard as I can push my pedal through the floor. So
absolutely, and again, showing Liberty Racing League is this place to be for the super speedway racing. Putting on a phenomenal show here. Solid victory. More importantly, locking yourself into the playoffs with that victory. How cool is it going to be to go for that championship belt here at the end of the season?
Yeah, it makes like I figured I could probably get in based on points and usual finishes, but it always helps when now that I know the rest of the season, until playoffs don't really matter at that point, I can help my teammate Nick or something like that get his win so we can get him locked in because Battle was already locked in. So hope we can put all three of us in the playoffs together by the end of it.
And that's what it's all about, kind of working together and bringing it down to kind of a team battle for that championship belt towards the end of the season. So it gives us something to look forward to here on Vidane TV. Want to give you an opportunity here, Matt, to thank anybody that might be watching, give any shout-outs, sponsors, friends, family, anybody that makes it happen here for you for the virtual number 2 car.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for broadcasting this. You have a great broadcast. It's enjoy. I like going back and rewatching them. Thank Wes and the other guys for creating this league, putting all this whole thing on. bshow.info for the extra prize money and sponsorship tonight. That's greatly appreciated by every driver. Mom, dad, sponsors, they all know who they are, so thank all of them. Without them, I wouldn't honestly even be racing in this series. So that, and then just my teammates at High Side. So that's about it.
Solid run here tonight. A good win. Racing for that championship belt later on here tonight, Matt. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to slide a little bit further on down pit road, and it's always a little bit slicey and dicey when we try and call this cat in live. But Rowdy Wesley Hogue, first off, hang on. That's for you, because you haven't won a race yet this season. But man, oh man, let me crack one for me. Here we go. Second place run here tonight. Absolute massive run towards between you and Matt and man on the last lap. Man, other than a solid internet connection, what's it going to take to get this 38 car in victory lane?
Probably a solid internet connection. It's not one thing or another, Paul. You know that by now with me. It's just can't get ahead. However, I definitely I wanted to make sure that I had some courtesy there. I decided to lay back the quarter of that race, just letting them do their thing. And then there at the end, I figured it's time to go. Had a little bit of drama there. First of all, I want to say thanks to bshow.info. Thanks for coming on board again, paying out $25 to our winner here, being Matt Telder. But it was just time to go. And I knocked the crap out of the 12 coming through the tri-oval. I saw the 62 coming behind me, 88 for you. And I moved low to kind of block that a little bit. And I was already there on the 12, and I just hit him in the rear, pushed him into the 15. And then Taylor loses it in 1 and 2. And somehow I'm able to just part the seas, and I figured, all right, well, my only chance at this is pushing Taylor up to the 04, and we do what we got to do. And we did. The only difference is the 04 pushed so dang hard. And doing nothing wrong. He just pushed up the track with 3 wide there in the tri-oval, and I scraped the wall. And I'm say that's probably what really cost me it there. I had the best run coming through the line. Taylor was able to pull it off.
But main goal of the night, entertain the masses here, putting on another hell of a show here with the Liberty Racing League on a Tuesday night. And coming home with a second place finish. Good points night. Still not quite the victory, but we'll see what happens next week. Wes, we'll give you a second here. Who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack in that 38 car? And how do we get in touch with the league if there's anybody out there that may potentially want to run some of these races or even sponsor with their brand or logo? How do we get in touch with Hogue?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for doing what you do here, Paul. Calling this, I know calling it solo is never fun, but I definitely appreciate you doing so. Hopefully we put on a good enough show for you to keep you entertained for an hour and a half. I want to give a shout out to everybody that came out here for this season. This has been an absolute blast so far. Thank you to everybody that comes on board, all the sponsors. You can find us at Liberty Racing League on Facebook, also on our Discord. You can find us as well. Feel free to get a hold of us. Facebook's the best way. 1 sec. Okay, I had to do some admin duties there, but no, you can find us Facebook, Liberty Racing League, as well as just contact me, Wes Hogue on iRacing. This is what it's all about, man. We're able to get away with a decent day, a second place. I guess I'll take that. Hopefully, it's going to be drama free afterwards in the Discord channels. But all together, P2. That's one more closer. Locked ourselves in to the All-Star race, which is going to be a blast. Which will be week 13. We'll be announcing that our week 13, not iRacing's week 13, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But again, congrats to Matt getting it done. One hell of a race.
Absolutely. Second place finish of the big boss man, Rowdy Wesley Hogue, coming home in at second, just short of the first victory of the season. And man, oh man, how about the run for this man, Mark Mann in the 04 car, elected to stay out on track under that last caution flag, gambled just a little bit, Came home with a solid podium finish, but Mark, did you have enough? Obviously, you had enough fuel. What was kind of going through your mind there? You looking in your rearview mirror and seeing all those drivers come down pit road.
I thought I was a sitting duck, and I was. I mean, after they wrecked, I mean, I may have had that in the bag if we stayed without a wreck. But as soon as they wrecked and a few cars broke off, I knew I was just a sitting duck, and it proved it at the end, coming to the finish line. You know, I got really arrow tight once the car passed me on the inside, and it pushed me up the track. So I basically just completely got out of the gas. I don't think Wes had enough real estate to win that race to get past the other car, but at least I didn't wreck them and take that position. So I'll take a third. I can count the amount of times I've raced the 87s on probably one hand. It's probably my fifth or sixth time ever running these cars. But yeah, I had a good time, man.
And that's what it's all about, having a good time here with the Liberty Racing League and putting on one hell of a show, especially on that last lap. Holding on to a top three after a hard challenge there from Telder and Hogue. And I want to give you an opportunity here, Mark, to thank anybody that's maybe watching, maybe some friends, family, sponsors, who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack in that 04 Batmobile.
Well, first of all, I want to thank the sponsors over here, bshow.info and Liberty and all the guys behind the scenes that put these on. First time running this league. I've enjoyed it. My specialty, you know, is more trucks and B-car. So I've kind of liked this mix with the next gen and 87s. But, you know, I want to thank my teammates, James Mayer and Rick Seabrains, who I raced with tonight. My friend Mara, who always watches all these races, and all the fans and friends at home, and you guys for calling the race.
Absolutely. Putting on a hell of a show here once again with the Liberty Racing League. Looking forward to next week and looking forward to kicking things off next week at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time with SlamDraftin with Liberty Racing. Going to be talking to hopefully Matt Telder coming home with a win here tonight. And that'll be hosted by Wes and myself. So be sure to check that out. Kind of a little bit of a behind the scenes kind of deal. We get to learn new things about the drivers here in the Liberty Racing League. But that's going to do it here for us tonight. The bshow.info New Year's resolution. The race is done. Matt Telder coming home with the victory. Rowdy Wesley Hogue, after some connection issues, comes home in second. And Mark Mann coming home in third here on the Turn 4 podcast post-race show. And we're going to wrap things up and call it a night here at Vidane TV. The next time you see us, we'll be doing it live. We'll see you on the flip side.